Hello there! I wanted to pop in really quick before the episode starts and do a quick introduction and a hello to anyone new out there that's popping in for the first time. I am Jon, aka Fives, one of the hosts of Clone Army Radio. This episode was very special because we welcomed our very first guest onto Clone Army Radio, straight from Lightsaber Radio, Charlie Harwood, and it was such a great time. Unfortunately, due to some circumstances, I was unable to be at the first half of this episode, but I popped in towards the end, and Lito rocked it out. So on that note, enjoy the show.
Roll it again.
Frequency 1138 is all clear and clanker free. This is Clone Army Radio.
Execute Order 66. Begun. The Clone War has. Cloners.
Now this is pod racing.
I've never started the show before, so I don't know.
Don't.
All right, so I'll just say it. Okay, here we go. What is up, Clone Army? All right, I'm Lito. We got a very special episode here today. We got a very special guest, Charlie Harwood.
Hello.
From Lightsaber Radio podcast.
Yes.
Wow, we couldn't. You're our very first guest, and we've been kind of out there, kind of looking like who would be like the perfect person to kind of like break our mold of it just being Jon and I, and we both absolutely heard you, and we absolutely 110% were like, yes, Charlie's the one that we kind of want to reach out to, and I can't believe you said yes, because I mean it's like, wow, like
Why would I say no?
I
listened to a bunch of your guys' episodes, and you've got such a good sort of flow with each other. You're obviously really fast friends, and I love that energy. Star Wars is to be shared. Star Wars is to be enjoyed with your friends and your family, and I thrive off of that energy in my podcast. And it's so lovely to be able to share it with you guys. I'm so touched that you reached out to me. I'll be honest, hand on heart, had a bit of a cry about it. Was very overwhelmed.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad we're reaching across the pond there, and
Yes.
and high-fiving each other and being like, hey, we both dig this, and we're both from obviously
That's right.
different upbringings or whatever, but like this is something that we can both like come together and talk about it and love it and
100%.
and then so the plan is like, let's learn about Charlie. You know what I mean?
Me.
Yeah. This is our goal. Like we talk about ourselves so much, it's not even funny. And so like we're like, let's just learn about other people and what they and how they came to be and like what brought them to Star Wars. And so let's start with your podcast. Okay. Did you start that on your own, or were you recruited, or how did that all come about?
So I was minding my own business, just doing my cosplay, enjoying myself, and I got a DM from a podcast called, it used to be Star Wars Audio Archives, it's now Star Wars in 10. Just being like, hey, starting a new podcast, looking for some people, would you be interested in having like a little interview, like a chat?
Oh wow.
And I'd just finished university, I'd just finished my degree, and very much in that sort of postgraduate phase of I don't know what to do with myself, I don't know employment, and also the pandemic, and I said yes. I took a big breath and I said yes.
Awesome.
And
do you mind if I ask what you got your degree in, or?
Oh yeah, sure. I have a first class degree in fine art.
Fine art, like
Yeah.
artistic,
Yeah.
like drawings and is that like architecture, like going into that kind of realm, or?
I work mostly with sculpture and installation, so
Oh,
kind
wow.
of gallery art, kind of cultivating entire spaces versus making like a singular painting. I was never one for painting and drawing. I like to make in 3D. I think that's why I like collecting all of this stuff. I like physical objects.
Oh, right. Yeah. Like, I'm looking at your background and we got so many of the Star Wars. So it's little Grogu and R2.
There's so much. I wish your listeners could see quite the quantity of Star
For
Wars
real.
memorabilia.
When Jon comes on, you're going to have a kick on his background. I love doing the podcast with them, because it's like I got a window into just like yours, just like a little Star Wars museum, you know.
Yes,
So
I think that's
cool.
the goal, is to convert the whole house into some kind of like Rancho Obi-Wan.
Do you sculpt any Star Wars characters, or?
I have never even attempted. A lot of my art is very kind of abstract and emotion based. I've never sort of gone, maybe I should make a stormtrooper. Maybe I should look into like miniature figures and painting. Maybe I should branch out.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. You never know.
Stuff the podcast. I'm off now. I'm going to go do some sculpture.
I gave you the inspiration to go and do your craft, huh? That's cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So I derailed you.
No, it's fine. I had the little interview and I chatted to Kyle, who's like the guy who he runs Star Wars Audio Archives, and he set all this up and he sort of brought us all together. And we did our first episode and I was terrified.
Oh.
I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to speak. I didn't know what to say. I was just scared. And it took a good few weeks for me to really settle into just comfortable. And also, these were complete strangers.
Yeah, that's wild. I applaud you for doing that. Absolutely.
We got thrown in, and Kyle was like, "Right, let's do it. Let's see what happens."
That's great.
It worked better than I think any of us could have predicted. I was worried that they wouldn't get on with me, they wouldn't understand me, because like American culture is different to British culture, and but no, they think I'm absolutely hilarious, and I love that.
That's awesome. So you didn't have any like little pre-show or anything to kind of like get your feet, wet, and then they just threw you right in there, huh?
We had I think we had one little meeting just beforehand, just to sort of briefly get to know each other, and then it was in. We started our podcast off audio format only, I think, because Kyle didn't want us to feel the pressure of I've never done a live stream before. And we took our time to build that connection with each other and kind of build that back and forth and rapport, because that's so important. Like, I don't know the circumstances of you and Johnny. I don't know if you were friends before you started doing this.
Yeah, lifelong friends. Yeah.
That makes me so happy. That's so cute.
Yeah, we've been friends since the first day of third grade. Yeah. Yeah, we met at the playground, and we're like, we're going to be friends. And he's like, okay.
I love kids just deciding that's it. We're friends now.
We're friends. Yeah. And that's it. And we've been friends ever since. Yeah. He's other than my family, he's the person I've known the longest in my life. Yeah. So it's easy to talk to him. And whenever I'm going through tough times and vice versa, like he always kind of centers me and, puts me back, and is a good person to talk to and listens well.
That's so lovely.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff. It's about you though. Like, it's about you. Let's focus on you. We got a long list of questions, and I want to make sure.
Oh my goodness.
We get through them all here. So this is your first podcast, right? You've been on.
Yeah. Before that, I'd done maybe a couple of interviews on local radio. I'd been sort of headhunted via Twitter and got asked to come in and do a few interviews. I did like a New Year's show. I'm polyamorous. I have 2 partners. So I did like a show talking about that aspect of my life.
Sure.
And I was able to turn around to Kyle and go, I've done radio. Does this count towards experience?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a radio show. It's a internet radio show. Right?
It is an internet radio show. That's exactly it. And I was just so excited to try something new. I love to talk. I love to talk about Star Wars. Anybody who will listen to me talk about Star Wars, 10 out of 10. And
awesome.
It just went from there. It was so easy. Our Saturday shows, we talk about a variety of topics. We've talked about the Christmas, like the holiday special. We've done gift guides. We've played Smash or Pass for 40 minutes. Don't ask. Smash or Pass with the whole of Star Wars. It was a wild ride. Okay. We've talked about breaking news, Kenobi series. We did a whole breakdown of the Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
We cover our tagline is it's anything and everything Star Wars.
Oh, that's
books,
good.
games, movies, TV shows. I love it. It's a super inclusive. We don't believe in toxic fandom spaces. We don't believe in opinions as facts. We believe in honest, fair communication with each other, fair criticism, and good. We have good debating skills, I think.
Awesome.
Partly because our lad Garrison's training to be a lawyer, so
well,
he
that helps.
keeps us all in check. Yeah.
There you go. That's a good person to have, kind of like moderating things. Is someone who's used to, dealing with people and the structure of a courtroom, I guess.
Absolutely.
Counterpoint.
Yeah, it's order in court. Order in court,
right. So you said you were a cosplayer. Is that like what you're known for mainly then? And that's how you said they found you? Is that you do events or go to conventions?
My first convention was in 2017. I'd never been to a Comic-Con before. And at that point, I just started seeing my partner Nick, and he kept sort of gently being like, "Don't you think you look a bit like Daisy Ridley?" Totally. Like we'd watch the movies, and he'd be like, "You look like her."
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Shut up. No, I don't. Stop it. I don't. Of course I don't. I'm just me. And then he said, "Why don't we go to Comic-Con, and why don't you dress up as Rey? Just to see if you like it or not. See how you find it." So I researched the hair.
Yeah.
The costume I wore was borrowed from my friend. I'm about 5'10". My friend is maybe about 5'1".
Uh-oh.
So the costume was a bit small. I had her son's plastic lightsaber. It was the worst Rey hair you have ever seen in your life.
Which one did you go with? The one with the
scavenger Rey, the 3 buns.
The 3, yeah, gotcha.
A mess.
No, I'm sure it was fine.
I had all of my piercings in. I had my ear stretchers in. Like, all of my tattoos were on show. I thought I looked fantastic.
Yeah.
But I went, and it was magic. I've never experienced anything like it. Every couple of seconds, people were coming up to me going, oh my God, it's Rey. You look just like Daisy. Oh my God, can I have a picture? Oh my God, it's Rey. I had stormtroopers. The 501st Legion came and spoke to me, and I was like, whoa,
so
guys,
cool.
whoa. I look like trash. Leave me. No.
Oh man, you're killing it though. Like they were loving it. Like
I couldn't believe it.
They accepted you. Like, that's great. I mean,
instantly.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
This seems, I don't mean to make this a very sad moment. Obviously, I know this is an experience of a lot of Star Wars fans. I was bullied a lot as a kid. I was picked on and singled out.
Same here.
Yeah. And it left me with a really small sense of self-worth and struggling to find why anybody would care about me, why anybody would want to be friends with me. And I put that costume on, and I stepped into that hall, and it was like all the friends I'd never had. I'm not going to cry. It was like all the friends I'd never had.
Oh,
I was 100% accepted for everything that I am, and it hasn't stopped.
Well, yeah, no, it's not going to. No, there's a whole, like, this is a whole. I mean, have you been to? I mean, how many pages and pages and pages of podcasts are just devoted to Star Wars? I mean, and those are that's your community too. That's your family too. That's, your peers. That's everybody, in the theme parks and books. I mean, movies and, all the people that go to see the movies. That's they're all part of it too. Anybody who's touched Star Wars and has been touched by Star Wars is someone you can identify with and have your back whenever you need it.
I cannot thank George Lucas enough for what he put out into this world. Like, I get really emotional when I talk about how much I love George Lucas.
Absolutely. No, he's a great man. Like, he did his homework, and he got a bunch of stuff and put it in a bag, shook it and gave us this great universe and filled it with a bunch of, stuff that we can identify with, but then still kind of new. And, we're still exploring it, still like learning things. And it's so rich that
it doesn't stop. That's it. Exactly. It's rich. And as somebody, I guess, like as someone who works in film production, you understand to such a deeper level the elements that are going into everything and why choices were made. And cinema fascinates me, particularly looking at it from George's perspective. That man sees the world in a way that is unique, completely, wholly unique.
Well, he also leaned on talented filmmakers around him too to do their role.
Obviously, yes.
So he let them. The best thing about George is he was like the overlord, right? And he said yes or no, but like he was like working. He was among people that were just in their part of the film, like really brought great ideas as well. That he said yes, no, and he let them be just as creative with Star Wars as he was bringing it to the table. He gets the credit because he's the director, producer, or whatever, but like there's other people behind him that are just as equally talented, you know.
Oh, of course. But I'm sorry, that was such a sideline.
No, this is what it's all about, you know. And I'll get you back on track. We got all kinds of good stuff. So, is that the only radio show you're doing? The podcast is the Lightsaber Radio?
At the moment,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any plans of doing something else outside of Star Wars podcasting or anything?
Because I have a lot of varied interests that expand beyond Star Wars. I'm very much kind of I love Star Trek. I love Lord of the Rings. I love Marvel. I'm starting to get into DC. Tentative steps, baby steps, but I'm getting there.
I guess that's okay.
I have.
I love the comics, but the movies are underwhelming for me. I'm sorry.
I agree. Don't tell anyone I agree.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything to anybody.
Because I have so many varied interests and I'm pouring so much into Star Wars, it's showing me that I could possibly do more on my other interests, like the Rings of Power series that's coming out. I'm bouncing around the idea of having a separate YouTube channel where it's just me and my background and a camera, and I just talk about these.
The Tolkien's, right?
Yeah, anything really, anything that encapsulates nerd culture, whilst also being able to promote my own podcast and have that on the side. Like it means so much to me, but I have got so much to say.
Okay, that's
Honestly.
Great. You have a voice and let it out. We need to hear it. Like the more people like that are free, you know, that are like a voice and an influencer. Like I think the better for every, you know, there's room for everybody. You know what I mean? This is the
100%.
medium to do it. Yeah, for everyone's opinions, and so that's great. I think I love it that you got other interests, and I mean now that you've got, you know what podcasting is. Like you're gonna go do your own thing and you know what I mean, but still have Star Wars too. But you have other itches that you want to scratch and other things you want to tackle.
Exactly.
Right. I'm doing something similar. I started a whole science fiction podcast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, where people at work doing. So I'm not only doing Star Wars. I'm doing a whole science fiction podcast based on old science fiction movies called Sci-Fi Rewind. So, and it's been a ton of fun, and it's been helping me do the same thing you're doing. Like, you know, it scratched the itch of other stuff. So you're assuming doing so cool.
If your sci-fi podcast ever covers Red Dwarf,
okay,
hit me up.
I love Red Dwarf. Yeah, the JFK episode. Yeah,
incredible.
With the the best. We had to watch that in film school.
This is my sad flex. I have bar about 2, I have nearly every published Red Dwarf book, like all of the companion guides, all of the behind the scenes stuff. I've got the rare American release of the first book cover in hardback. I watched it over lockdown, became obsessed in the space of about a week, and went, I must have everything. I must have any merch. Give it to me. I don't care. Wow. Give it to me.
You're just like me. Like if you like something, you want to love it all, and you want to know it all.
Yes.
And then if there's a book, you want to read the book of the movie you just watched. Just absorb it all. Yeah, it's the same thing. So
luckily, Star Wars is great. Star Wars is the juiciest, meatiest steak you have ever seen in your life.
Absolutely.
And
so let me ask you this real quick, Red Dwarf. Could you just give me the the premise of it, and how they got to the ship, just so people know what we're talking about?
Yes,
it's so much fun.
For anyone who's not aware, Red Dwarf is probably one of the longest running British TV sci-fi shows, and it started way back in, I believe, the 70s, 80s, 90s. I'm going to get smashed for not knowing this.
It's okay.
It's it's a giant spaceship that's basically like the size of a planet traveling through deep space. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of years into the future, and due to a malfunction on the ship, Everybody dies except for one singular passenger. His name is Dave Lister. He's trapped in suspended animation for 3 million years.
Wow.
He comes back alive again, and it's him on the ship. It's his bunkmate and arch nemesis Rimmer as a hologram. The ship's computer, Holly, who has gone completely balmy by this point. And before Dave Lister went into suspended animation, he had a pet cat on the ship. The cat also went into suspended animation, and it didn't. Over the period of 3 million years, the cat evolved into a cat person. So there's Dave, Rimmer, Holly, and Cat. And then in about season 2, we're introduced to another character called Crichton, who's an android. And I know there's a really big American fan base for it, but it is very, very specific British humor. It's very dry, very sarcastic, and it's comedy at its absolute finest. You can hear the audience are just roaring. Like, there are times you can't hear what the actors are saying because the audience are laughing so loudly.
There's a live audience for it?
Yeah, there's always been
wow.
a live audience. Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought it was just taped on a stage and that's it. Like
it's live audience laugh track, and I think season 5 there was no laugh track, which was really weird.
Okay.
Very strange. And it's still running now. They did a Red Dwarf film last 2 years ago now, which was like a hour and 45-minute like straight to TV movie.
Okay.
And it's still the same actors. They're still hanging around, still doing the convention circuits. Still.
That's great. Yeah. So what in the United States, if you were to, and when I was growing up, that show would be like it would be our PBS, which is Public Broadcasting Service station. So, but now, I mean, you would catch it probably, well, on the internet, of course, but like, on the BBC channel that we would have here, they would probably show that. So if anyone's looking for it, but it's not.
Yeah, it tends to come up on sort of like Dave, Gold TV, and obviously available online. Honestly, this is not well, it kind of is. It's very heavily inspired by Star Wars. It takes a lot from Star Wars, and you can see how it marries into that overall sort of sci-fi universe. Another thing that's very good, other than Red Dwarf, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah.
Don't like the movie. I don't like the movie with Martin Freeman in it.
No?
No, I think it's horrible. The original British TV series is superior, in my opinion.
Wait, they made a TV series before?
Yeah, there's an original British TV series that is much, much closer to the book, in my opinion.
I thought they did a good job of being towards the book, maybe, but
It's an interpretation that I don't particularly enjoy.
Oh, okay. What was the one guy's...
Not that it's objectively bad, it's not.
What was the one guy's... Something Prefect?
Ford Prefect, which
Ford
is a car.
Prefect, yeah.
Yes, he comes down to Earth, and the first thing that he sees is a Ford Prefect, so he decides that's his name.
That's great. That's great stuff. It's good stuff. I love that how they do that. And then I love the fact that they're making a byway through the Earth, and the Earth has to is going to get demolished or blown up, and they got they had the paperwork in in their they had the paperwork
in their town hall that was millions of light years away that we would never have seen or been able to get to, and they went, well, that's your problem.
Well, that's that's hilarious. But then that was still happening in his town too. The same thing was kind of happening. I loved how it was it was so cool,
my goodness.
Small town, but then it was galactic version of the same thing. It was so cool.
That is absolutely something the Empire would do. That's Empire behavior, that is.
Absolutely. And then who was in that movie that's one of my favorite actors is
Alan Rickman was in that movie, if that's who you're thinking of.
He was the robot, right? That was kind of down and out all the time.
He was the very depressed robot. That's the best bit of the whole film. That's Alan Rickman's performance as that robot is exceptional.
Sam Rockwell, right? Was Sam Rockwell in that? Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites too. So I loved him in Moon. Have you seen Moon?
No.
Oh yeah. You got to see Moon. I'm not going to say no more. Yeah, check out Moon. It's a quick one.
I'll put it on the list.
Sam Rockwell. Yeah, absolutely. Oh boy. Oh, we're here to talk about Star Wars, aren't we?
We are. Johnny, I'm so sorry for the editing that you're going to have to do.
Oh, he'll leave that in. Hopefully, that's some good stuff. So, what made you fall in love with Star Wars? What about it?
The escapism.
Yeah.
having somewhere else to go where I could be anybody, be anything, and I could disappear for a while. I struggled a lot as a kid and a teenager, and mental health has plagued me for most of my life, and Star Wars was one of the times where I was happy and I was at peace. And it's colourful and it's vibrant and it's stimulating, and as an active, intelligent child, I thrived on it.
Wow.
It filled every gap, ticked every box. My introduction to Star Wars is quite sort of recent. I'm very, very much a prequels child. Very, very much a prequels child.
That's okay.
I read The Hobbit when I was about 8 years old. My mum was fed up of me whining about all the books I was reading were boring, so she gave me The Hobbit and went, right, well, this shut me up for a day.
You read The Hobbit in a day when you were 8? Wow. That's quick.
I'm sorry, I sound like I'm sat here like bragging. That's not the energy I want to go for.
That's okay.
It's a story. It's going somewhere. And I read the books. I read The Lord of the Rings, and I still wanted more. And I don't quite know how my mum ended up with it, but she ended up with a VHS copy of The Phantom Menace.
Yes.
Back in it came out in 1999, and I think in about 2001, my mum gave it to me. And it had Darth Maul on the cover and like the really bold title and all the red makeup and the eyes.
Yes.
I was intrigued. This was fascinating. Who was this strange red man with all of these horns? Watched it. I was sat on the floor about this far away from the old CRT TV with the static making your nose feel funny.
Yeah.
Enraptured. Silence for like an hour and 45. Silence from me. Just obsessed. And I watched that VHS every day for about 2 years. Over and over and over. I didn't know there were any more. Because my parents didn't know what it was. They just knew that I liked it. So I got to watch it. They didn't know about Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. And they didn't even think to mention the original trilogies because all I cared about was the Phantom Menace.
Wait, so this is amazing. You got introduced to Star Wars with episode 1.
Yeah.
That's like probably how George would have preferred everyone to.
I like to think so.
So, not to skip ahead, but like, did you go in order? Did you skip around, or how did it end up going?
1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 and 3.
Okay.
And then 2 and 3 for about another couple of years because they were even more amazing than the first one.
Sure.
This is really embarrassing. I didn't watch the original trilogy till I was about 16 years old.
Okay.
It was in my head because the prequels were so bright and colourful and they were CG and it was the peak of CGI at the time.
Right. You got
the originals were boring and grey, and Yoda was a weird little puppet, and I wanted CG Yoda, and I was very, very snobby about it. I remember being really sort of, I begrudgingly watched A New Hope and begrudgingly sat through Empire Strikes Back, and then I got to Return of the Jedi and was like, now we're on to something.
Yeah, you can see the progression. You're right.
Suddenly, all of the story of Anakin Skywalker made sense. So Darth Vader's reveal and Darth Vader's redemption, sobbing. Absolutely sobbing. Because I was like, that's Anakin Skywalker.
You're giving me chills. To see it that way. I didn't even show my daughter that. I showed her the originals first.
Yeah, I did the same for my girlfriend. She'd never seen them, and we went, let's go originals first and then prequels. But I got to experience it as the maker intended.
Bless the maker.
Bless the maker.
That's so cool.
And it encompassed my existence, my complete existence. I wanted the books. I wrote the fan fiction. I ran the blogs. You did. Yeah, anything I could absorb myself into for Star Wars. Can I
go in a little bit with the fan fiction?
This is embarrassing. No, it was mostly just I had a lot of issues at the time. I was into the prequels, and the prequels kind of had their sort of renaissance when I was sort of like late 2000s. Okay. I sort of maybe 16 or 17, and the internet was very angry about Hayden Christensen's portrayal as Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, because it was dry.
Yeah. that's been an ongoing argument, and I was fully in the sort of support Hayden Christensen, leave him alone. He's an awkward teenage boy who's never met a girl before. What do you expect him to do? I was a mess as well.
Right. Good.
And I wrote a lot of fan fiction around Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship and their like brotherhood and like father-son relationship. And I was fleshing out what I didn't realize the books could give me, because I didn't realize the books were a thing. I didn't know about Master and Apprentice. I didn't know about any of it. So I was filling in those gaps for myself about these deep, emotional, pure moments between the two of them. And
that's amazing.
It was a whole thing. And then I read the books and was like, yeah.
Which books, if you don't mind me asking, do you watch the Apprenticeship book? I mean, the prequel books? Like
I've read the novelizations of the prequel books, which I loved. Absolutely loved.
I've never like done that. I've never.
So juicy. It adds so much more.
I can imagine, though, for real. I do audiobooks because I just don't have the patience.
I do a few. That's fair. I'm guilty of it as well.
Yeah, because I mean the sound effects and the voice acting,
music, and
I just get into it a lot more, and I don't fall asleep. If I read, I'll fall asleep. I'm an old timer. But I should try one. I've never read a novelization of any book. I mean, I want to try this. This sounds cool. Is there any one of the 3 prequels that you recommend, or?
I personally think Attack of the Clones, the novelization, is the best out of the 3, because you get a much deeper understanding of Anakin's like thoughts and thought processes, because it's very closely tied to him and how he's feeling. And instead of just these loud, uncontrolled teenage emotions that we see in the film and this awkward, clunky dialogue, which is not George's bad writing, it's entirely intentional.
Yeah. Okay.
And the books give so much more kind of cadence to the films, and you come out of it with this real level of understanding for these characters. I'm so passionate about Anakin Skywalker. Star Wars needs to stop traumatizing its main characters, please. They've been through enough.
No, that's what you do. You got to throw the book at them so people, like feel sorry for them, and I know it's hard. It's hard to do when you're creating a character and you're like, oh man, I got to put them to the ringer, but you get to rebuild them. You know what I mean? And look at, he just did it opposite. You know what I mean? He did it in the opposite direction than you would normally do, which is awesome. I mean, that's why he's the pioneer in so many things, not just the story, but like filmmaking as a whole, like how CGI and the blue screen and green screening and animatronics and I mean that was all George. Everything comes from George. He's problem solver. I mean that's basically it, And we did THX 1138, his very first film. Have you ever seen it?
No, it's on my list. I feel terrible that I haven't watched it. Out of all of the George Lucas films I've seen, it's the one that's on my list. Is it good?
Is it good? Okay. I'm not going to say anything, but it's George Lucas.
That says enough, really, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah, George Lucas. It is. So you haven't been a Star Wars fan all that long. You're saying like, well, no, since the early 2000s. So yeah, a long time you've been a Star Wars fan. Okay, cool. He's got it here. I'm sorry, I'm reading off the list here.
That's all right.
So I don't know if you've heard our episode 66, but we reveal very similar. We reveal about ourselves the very same thing as you kind of mentioned, that John and I both have like mental health issues background and whatnot. And Star Wars very much centers us, balances us, and puts us back, and it makes us escape. So basically, the question is, what does Star Wars mean to you? So that's what we reveal in our episode 66. And
that's so lovely. Star Wars, I guess at this point in my life, Star Wars to me means family.
Yeah.
I know that I spoke about it earlier, but through this community, I have found lifelong friends. I have found people that
it's beautiful
across like the whole world that I never thought I'd even reach out to. I spent a lot of my time watching Star Wars, never feeling particularly attached to Padme or Leia.
Oh no?
Just just, not particular. Like Leia's obviously like an iconic character, but I didn't see myself as that princess, and I also didn't see myself as that sort of government Senate leader, strong. And then there was Rey, this confused, naive, unsure of herself, didn't know where she belonged in the world. And I sat there and watched The Force Awakens and went, that's me. After all these years, that's me. I latched onto Rey as a character, and it gave me a whole new love of Star Wars. And Star Wars is about found family. That's the point of all of the films. It's this idea that no matter where you're from, who you are, what your circumstances are, and what you go through, family is always there at the end of it, always.
Absolutely.
And whether that's by blood or by circumstance, it doesn't matter either way. I think particularly the Book of Boba Fett is a beautiful example of found family, a stunning, stunning metaphor for all of George's exploits across the films, all of the ways he thought about the world around him and the experiences with the people he loved and cared about in his life. And Book of Boba Fett was a beautiful homage to that. It really was. Star Wars has always been about family. And when I didn't have friends and when I didn't have those people in my life, I had Anakin, I had Obi-Wan, I had Jar Jar. I loved Jar Jar. Oh my goodness. That weird little whatever, just love him.
Yeah, he's great.
He was goofy and clumsy, and I was goofy and clumsy and gangly and spoke weirdly and made mistakes and people laughed at me. But if Jar Jar could get away with it, then so could I.
Jar Jar saves the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like in his way.
Without Jar Jar.
Yeah. So just all those Jar Jar haters, out there. Like I never understood it. Like I'm very similar in the same way, clumsy and awkward and tall, and I walk weird too, like I'm just not a care. And then, but stumbling through life a little bit, and then but it's something always works out. And that's my daughter's favorite character from the Clone Wars is
exceptional taste.
Yeah, she loves the Jar Jar. I'm like, really? Because I gotta watch these Clone Wars, and he's he's like a little Mr. Magoo. Something, what I mean? He comes through in the end, and he saves the day. But that's great that you said family first, right? That's amazing. That's good stuff. It's all about family and finding, everyone's kind of alone at the beginning of things, but then by the end, they've got this bond with people and groups, and they group up and they take on these challenges that, and that are in front of them that they have no business like being able to conquer, but they do because, they believe in each other, and they trust in the Force, and it gets them through, and they make it happen, and they topple regimes.
Oh,
so
yes,
it's amazing.
And Star Wars' strength as well. I think something else the characters in the story show is it doesn't matter what you go through, how beaten down and broken you are, you can get back up and you can carry on.
Right.
And I needed that. I needed that my whole life, and Star Wars was that support for me, was that place to go, you know what, if Jedi can do it, then so can I. That's
amazing stuff. I feel so sorry that like I wish I just met you, right? But like I wish I could have just like known you and been like we could have just sat and watched Star Wars together, and like you're not alone. Like I love this just as much as you do. Like you know what I mean? Everyone in my family was not a Star Wars fan. Like no. This is I read the books. They are the Empire books, the Thrawn trilogy. I would just, you know what I mean? I'd consume them like as soon as I knew they were around. And they were like, why are you reading this stuff? Like these movies are done. They're not going to do anything ever again. I'm like, it was dead when I was in high school. Like Star Wars was not a thing, No. It was gone. It was, and the prequels is actually these books kind of pumped life back into it. And then they're like, oh, there's still a market out there,
There's always going to be a market.
and then they made the prequels, and then it was off to the races after that. A big gap because George was doing other things or whatever, but I don't know. We're not doing anything. I don't know. George. I don't know. George is probably like, because I read these behind the history of behind the stories. and I think George was like a little bit taken aback by like the negative criticism, like the characters like Jar Jar and the acting, as you were saying, and he's like, well, fine, then I won't do any Star Wars.
Yeah,
which is not cool.
I mean, not cool, but that poor man, he poured so much of himself into those films. He laid himself bare for us, and the majority of the fan base went, don't like it.
Yeah, and he paid for it. Like that's his money. He put up his own money and his own security and his own, for us.
And we had the audacity to say we didn't like it.
Oh my goodness. I saw it 4 times in the movie theater, like the Phantom Menace, and then the other ones I saw a couple times, and then the third one I've seen the least amount, but still I went to see it and supported it, and anything Star Wars. And I was at a weird time in my life, but as I grow older, I mean, I'm super glad that they're on Disney Plus, and like just a click away, and it takes me right back there. And
it is my ultimate. Phantom Menace is my ultimate comfort watch. From having a bad day, if I'm not when I was sick with COVID, the first day that I was really poorly, I was like, I'm gonna watch Phantom Menace until I feel better.
That's great. It's chicken soup for the soul.
It is chicken soup. It is chicken soup for the soul. Oh, I love that phrase so much.
That's good. So obviously, I think he's asking me which set of the trilogy films is your favorite, and I think it's pretty clear, but no, it's not really clear. If you had to choose prequels, originals, or sequels, and you don't have to choose, because I don't want to put you on that spot.
If I had to choose, it would be the prequels, because they're kind of my longest standing, oldest friends, if you will.
Sure.
I adore the sequels, and I think they're wonderful, but there's nothing quite like the flavor of the prequels. Does that make sense? There's something very, very specific about them that is so of the time, of the era, and so deeply connected to my childhood and my experiences. But if I wasn't forced to choose, it would be both the prequels and the sequels, because the sequels have such a special place. Like going to the cinema, I had to see The Force Awakens. I knew it was out and I was really excited about it, but I didn't think I was going to get to go and see it at midnight. A very old friend who I haven't spoken to in a long time picked me up out of the blue, appeared at my house in his car and said, right, we're going to the cinema, got to go watch Force Awakens. And I went, what? So I rushed to put Star Wars makeup on, I put a Star Wars t-shirt on, we're in the car, we're off. And within the first 3 seconds of the opening credits starting, I burst into tears, and I don't think I stopped crying for the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
It was this...
They totally got you.
It all came flooding back in spades, because it is A New Hope. We know that. It's beat for beat, it is A New Hope, but there's a reason for that. It was so people like you and me could watch it and go, I'm home, I'm back.
Oh, wow.
We're here. It was all of us in that cinema, metaphorically holding hands and going, we're going home, we're stepping back. I need to stop crying.
You're going to make me cry. I'm serious. Like, for real. You can't say it any better than that. It's so good. Wow. Yeah. That's so great. And then I don't know if you've heard us, John and I, we talk about the Last Jedi a lot, but we're really hard on that movie. No,
I am as well. I absolutely have been. I have a lot of issues with Rian Johnson. I'd really like to have a conversation with him. Just a conversation. Just a conversation. Just a few little.
One question. What were you thinking? That's it. Mm-hmm. And then I'll sit and listen.
Mm-hmm. If Rian Johnson had his way, Luke would have fully just taken the milk out of that creature's boob. No questions asked. He would have. If Rian Johnson had, I don't know if you've done much looking into the sort of deleted and cut scenes that Rian Johnson removed.
I saw the extras, and that's pretty much it. But it's been a while.
It's very bizarre. He has a very specific sense of humor that is not Star Wars.
Exactly. Yes, I have a very big problem with the humor in this movie. Yeah.
It doesn't fit, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but it doesn't make me laugh. It just makes me sit there and go, okay.
Yeah. And not what Star Wars is about. How it uses humor. Sorry. I love Rian Johnson's films. I've watched, and going deep dive into his back catalog, and I love Knives Out. So as a filmmaker, like, to me, he's awesome. But I don't know what, like, letting him touch Star Wars was just a colossal mistake, in my opinion. JJ should have just done all three. I don't think he didn't have the time or something. I don't know what happened, but we'll find out. I mean, you know, it'll all come out eventually, or, you know, I'm sure everything will. I mean,
Rian Johnson's still sat on Twitter telling people that he's doing a Star Wars trilogy, so I don't quite know what's. Yeah. He's lying. He's definitely lying.
So,
please, leave it alone.
Yeah, but that's a whole. We could spend a whole 5 episodes on that. Could. Yeah. So we're just getting to know you, and you know, it's hopefully just the tip of the iceberg here. So have you watched the Clone Wars then?
I have watched all of season 7.
Oh, good.
Because I assumed that would be the best place to sort of just sort of get up to date so that I can fit it into the rest of the timeline, and then I'll go back.
Yeah.
I've watched the what I guess you'd class as the essential episodes of seasons 1 and 2, because I know the pacing is a little bit slow and a little bit off.
Right.
So I sort of skipped the kind of duller episodes, and I'm about halfway through season 3 now, so I'm starting to catch up. I'm getting into it. Yeah, it took me a while, but man, some good juicy stuff in there too, as far as Star Wars. Really good.
Right.
I'm frustrated that I never gave it the chance. I remember it. My nana and granddad back in the day, they had a Skybox, which is the only way we in the UK at the time had access to American TV channels like Disney, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and they had the kids channels for me. So when I stayed over at the weekends, I got to watch all of the American channels, and I watched everything except for Star Wars: The Clone Wars, because I think I remember turning it on and being like, but they're not real people, so I don't care. It's not live action. I didn't like the animated cartoon, and that was it.
So you know what? I think I had similar thoughts. Like, you know, like they're not going to do real Star Wars because they don't have Luke, Leia, and you know everybody in there. This is just kind of like filler stuff or whatever. I think I same thing. I was a little wasn't on board, but I've since delved into it, and like I'm like, I can't believe I didn't watch this.
I know, I'm so angry at myself. The amount that I cried throughout season 7. And these kind of revelations and these interactions and these moments, and it has no right to be that painful. It has no right to upset me that much.
And I can't get over how brutal they are to these clones. I mean, they
do.
I know they're just soldiers, but man, anytime that somebody needs to get chopped in two, or their head cut off, or dismembered, or shot and killed, I mean, or fallen, or eaten, or anything. I mean, it's the clones.
Eating. So much eating.
I know. So it's wild. They're relentless with these guys. Well, good thing there's millions of them, because man.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, funny story. When I started doing Charlie's Impossible quiz from sort of about kind of episode 4 of Lightsaber Radio.
Okay.
And I've completely forgotten my point.
Charlie's Impossible quiz.
What was I talking? What were you talking about before that? I'm so sorry.
Clones getting eaten by.
That was it. There we go. Yeah. That was it. One of the questions I asked was how many clone troopers were made for the Grand Army of the Republic, because there isn't an exact figure. I did a bit of cross-referencing and a bit of calculating, and it's something stupid like 30 million or something ridiculous. It's a ridiculous number. And the amount of people that were like, you're wrong, that's badly calculated, you're wrong. And I was like, whoa.
For real? You had a backlash? Oh, no.
Apparently I could never be that number because according to this reference and this reference. And I was like, okay, I got it off Wikipedia, but all right.
Oh, yeah. I thought Wikipedia was where it was at. Oh, boy.
It does get a bit spicy sometimes. So, people like to question my answers. It's a bit much.
That's wild, because we don't really get much hate. We got a little bit of hate over this last episode. John made a reference to Robert Rodriguez is directing. We finally got our first hate mail, so I think we've made it.
Oh my God, that's amazing! Congratulations. That's better than like a silver YouTube plaque. Wow.
So
yeah,
I think we're still in the infancy stages as far as people knowing that we exist. So, but it's cool. That's all right.
We're still on baby steps as well. It takes time. I think some people go into this with the opinion that it's going to sort of just happen.
Yeah.
Granted, that does happen for some people, and luck is absolutely a factor. But
sure.
I think there's something really beautiful about the organic process of just starting from the ground up.
Right.
And making mistakes together, learning together, improving together, communicating better.
Right.
And the more effort you put in, the more rewards you reap. So why not take your time? I love that I've had time with the guys at Lightsaber Radio. We've built such a friendship and such a care for each other, and don't know what I'd do without them. It's one of the best parts of my week. It really is.
Isn't it fun to a couple more days till we record?
Yeah, a couple more days till I get to talk about Star Wars with my besties. It's
great. Or you just watch Book of Boba Fett. And
then you're on the group chat like, what did you think about this? Have you done the thumbnail for this week's episode? What the heck was that?
Oh, you guys you guys talk about it before you record? Oh, wow.
We're naughty. We're really naughty. I think we all get so I know, don't shh. We get so overexcited that we just have to be like, what did you think about this?
That's so great. Yeah, John and I, we don't talk about the episodes. It's so
you keep it pure.
We keep it
honest.
Completely honest. And it's like the most would like you see it, and it'll be just like yes or no. It'll be it. Like and then once we get on the mics, it's like we just explode. That's how we're always like talking over each other. So it's just like an explosion of that we're hearing our thoughts for the first time and it's so much fun that's how we do it. So that's our little strategy, I guess.
I love that. I would wake up, make a coffee, watch the episode, take some notes, watch the episode again, and then research anything I didn't know, so that by the time I get on this podcast with these poor lads, I've got like 4 pages of notes per episode. Like, did you see this? Did you see this, this, and this?
That's excellent. That's great research. I mean, it's like another job. Yeah. It's a passion, you can tell. Like, and you're doing it all out of like, because you really enjoy the content, and you really, I mean, but think about the time that you've invested in that, and that's awesome.
Every second worth.
It's not
single second.
Yeah, it's not work. It's exactly like what you want to do. Yeah,
there's never been a moment I've sat down and been like, I don't want to do this today. I can't be bothered. I'm going to take a day off.
Right.
It's always, what do I need to do for today? Do I need to do quiz questions? Do I need to do research? Do I need to look at the news and rumors? And it's getting to the point now where we're starting to break news at the same time bigger channels are doing it. So we're up to date and we're keeping up with it. And
that's tough.
I got to break the Rey Skywalker. Daisy's been roped in for a couple more things, and there's this whole trilogy rumor. That post went mad. Hundreds of comments, people arguing it out, being like, I don't want another trilogy. I do. Shut up. You're wrong. It was everything. Our highest like kind of grossing quote was like about the sequel trilogy, and like I don't think we were even asking anything crazy like did you like the sequel trilogy? I don't know, something really minor, something basic,
but it was like, and it exploded, and it was like thousands and thousands of people like impressions on Twitter, and we're like, what is going on? Like it's so divisive. I'm sorry.
Very divisive. Yeah. But I think that's kind of one of the beautiful things about Star Wars. If it isn't a little bit divisive, if there aren't a little bit of disagreement and a little bit of arguing, then is it Star Wars?
Right, true.
We are very particular fans. We are very particular about what our likes and dislikes are.
Exactly.
But we all come from different generations, different. Like Kyle was born the year Star Wars came out. He was 3 when he went to the cinema to see Return of the Jedi. It's been his whole life. Right. So I understand why he is particular. He is fussy, and he is critical. He's a purist.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. Just that's what he's passionate about. Whereas me, who's a little younger, a little brighter, give me all of it. I love it.
And then you've got the new people with the sequel trilogy, and it's like these movies are completely for them, like 100% for them. And it doesn't fit with the originals. Like I'm an originals guy. Like you said, your partner. I didn't catch the name, but Nick. Like I'm like Nick.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I'm like Nick. But I saw the prequels, right? When you saw them around the same time. But what was cool about the prequels is we got to see 3 Star Wars movies made by George Lucas, completely like thought out, you know what I mean? And like unadulterated 100% George Lucas. and so I got to feel like that almost those movies were kind of like, because I was like late. I was almost the same. I was born in 78, and the first one came out in 77. So by the time I was in elementary school, the movies have already been out. So I feel I never really got. The prequels are my Star Wars films, but I grew up with the originals. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like an in-betweener. Yeah. So it's cool.
Perfectly valid place to be.
Absolutely where I landed. But talking about the sequels and the divisiveness, we're going back to cosplay. That's where So you started off using someone else's costume. Did you transition into making your own then?
I very quickly gave my friend her costume back, and I ordered the same one in a slightly bigger size, and that was me set for sort of like maybe about 6 months. And I started my cosplay Instagram on the 1st of December 2019 with some photos of me in that really, really basic costume at a cinema event. And I looked at those pictures and went, right, what do I need to change to make this look better? I wasn't necessarily aiming for screen accuracy. I was just aware that there were elements that didn't sell the look. And I found myself getting incredibly particular. Hours were spent poring over stills of like The Force Awakens to get texture and color palette and material choices. And I'm going to take a second. There's a fantastic Facebook group. If anybody is into cosplay and specifically wants to cosplay Rey, look up the Rey cosplay community on Facebook. We're about just under 10,000, close to like a couple of thousand strong at this point, and we are all Rey cosplayers of various different backgrounds, abilities, skills as professional seamstresses. It's the best resource for building that costume, and it's 100% the reason my current Rey cosplay is as beautiful as it is.
Oh, so you went out and asked for a little bit of help.
I did. I did. And the community poured help on me.
That's amazing.
I was gifted things. I was sent resources, sent sellers. And over the course of a year, I built the costume. Wow. Dyed all the pieces myself, cut and sewed the tabards myself. I made my bracer myself. I sewed and cut the leather. My hip bag is a vintage World War II signal satchel. Okay.
Is that what they used for the actual? Oh my goodness.
Yes, that's the screen accurate.
That's so great.
And I cut that up. I had to. It was for the pattern. I had to cut it up.
What do you mean?
I had to take. It was about this big, and I had to take about this much off it. Stitch the sides back up, reattach the buckles, put loops on the back, redo the other buckles, add an Alice clip, and it was sewing like 40-year-old canvas that was full of dirt and like dust and blood and war, and it took me a day of like leather, like breaking leather needles, really thick needles to sew it together, and it was such hard work, but so worth it because it's screen accurate and it's beautiful.
That's so cool. Did you have it around, or do you keep it like somewhere safe? Your costume?
Yes, I do. I keep everything in boxes in the bedroom next door. Everything's in like light-proof, airtight boxes.
Okay, cool. That's good. You spend a lot of time with that, and you don't want it to. When you want to use it, you want it to be pristine. I understand.
And thanks to my incredible partners, I've ended up with. I have a 3D print of Rey's blaster. I've got the Pose X-Wing helmet. I'm going to get it and show you. I know people can't see this, but...
No, yeah, this is a little treat for me, that's all. I appreciate that.
This is my pride and joy. This is my Episode 7 Graflex. It is made from a cast of the original. Wow. So it's completely screen accurate, and it's screen accurate to Episode 7. And...
Okay, here we go. Let's do this.
I don't have the blade because the blade's downstairs, but it's bright as hell.
It does the thing. Oh yeah, I know exactly what. These things were I just heard about these things about 2 weeks ago. I never knew these things existed. These like super custom, like you said, screen accurate, and lightsabers. Does it make Does it have different?
It doesn't have a soundboard in it at the moment because, weirdly enough, it's one of the hardest things to get hold of. There's been silicone shortages for a good couple of years now. It's affected the PC industry well as, weirdly, the lightsaber industry. So this was made by an amazing friend of mine, Paul. He goes by Blue Rabbit Builds on Instagram. He made this for me. He got the parts. He filed everything down. He 3D printed the insides. He wired it all together for me. It
looks heavy, too. Like, it looks like it's got some weight to it.
It's beautiful. And it was a good couple of months of work and waiting, but so worth it. It's my baby. I love it so much.
I can tell by just the way you're holding it that it means a lot to you, and you love it, and they did a great job. And
the props were kind of more what I was interested in. As much as I love the costume and I love the elements of the costume, I was more excited to collect the props.
Oh wow! Okay.
That's why I have like helmets and all of the droids, and like I've got dark ray saber. I've got lightsaber. There is the force effects.
Can we go into that real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Something that intrigued me from that. How do you feel about dark ray?
Too many lightsabers. This is the force effects one from episode 9.
Oh, look at that.
It only works when it has the blade in, and I don't know where the blade is.
Oh boy!
But it is absolutely stunning. Absolutely.
And then that'll have a blade on both sides, right?
No, just a blade on one end.
On the one end? Okay.
This unscrews, and these teeth pop out, and you slide the blade in and screw it back on.
Oh, okay. So what do you think about a character in live action where Rey kind of goes in the dark side there, and they have how's that make you feel then?
I was obsessed with Dark Rey, and I desperately wish that we'd had way more screen time, because I think it's about 9 seconds of screen time for what is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, Rey's costume in the first film, the scavenger outfit, is very much kind of Tatooine, Jakku, very fitting. And then in the last film, she wears white for Leia, and that's wonderful and that's beautiful, but mine's broken and needs fixing. But this is a 3D print of her double-bladed lightsaber.
Very cool.
Which is supposed to snap open.
I didn't even. Oh, okay. I didn't even know that existed. Wow.
There are now fancy metal versions like this available, but I can't afford it.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine.
I need to wait for that podcast money to come in, if you know what I mean.
Hey,
go over those sponsors.
You're putting in the work right now. Believe me, you'll get there.
But yeah.
That's amazing.
I have Dark Rey's costume, which I made as well. Or I say made, I purchased the individual parts and pieced the costume together. That's more accurate. And I have a shop-bought Rise of Skywalker costume, which I don't wear very often because I'm not the biggest fan. I much prefer Scavenger Rey. Okay.
When you go to these conventions, do you see a Dark Rey running around? Like, do people?
Because the convention circuit, especially in my part that like in the UK, has been closed for a while because of COVID pandemic.
For real? Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to go to a con after Rise of Skywalker came out. I didn't see any Dark Reys. I was one of the first, not one of the first, but I was the first, at least in my circles, that I was seeing building the costume, looking at the parts to build the costume. And now it's really, really popular,
Oh, right.
People love the dark side. People love it.
No, people, I don't know. It's just like Darth Vader. He was the most popular film of the first one, and then boom, like that's what the story ended up being all about, is because George was giving people what they wanted. Look at Boba Fett. He was such a 6 minutes or something on screen or something, and a fan favorite. Yeah. So it's people love the darker characters. It's pretty cool. But man, I had a question about Rey. Oh, when you saw, and this kind of was the coolest part, when you saw Rey shoot Force lightning out, what did you think?
It blew my mind, because I'd had it in my head the entire time that she was Kenobi's.
Oh, me too.
That had been my theory from the beginning, especially because like his voice was at the end when she picks up the lightsaber out of Maz's chest and he says, "Rey, these are your first steps." As Obi-Wan's voice, pieced together from parts of Alec McGuinness, which I thought was really beautiful.
Absolutely.
And I was like, that's it. She's Kenobi's. She has to be. He had a secret daughter with Satine. It was like a whole thing. There's a secret child somewhere. That's it. And then she shot the Force lightning, and my jaw hit the floor.
Me
I was
too.
like, no,
That was
you can't. No, she can't. That's...
Oh, for real? They totally got you, huh? Oh boy, yeah, no, for real. Like I was like,
Hook,
this
line,
is the
and
coolest.
sinker.
This is the coolest thing I think I've seen in these new movies is Force lightning coming out of our hero. Like this is so cool. Like I love this where it's going. And then but I wish she would have killed Chewie just because the death would have been like because he didn't really do anything afterwards. Not that I want to see Chewie die. I don't want to see Chewie die, but like just think about. I would still feel it today that Chewie was dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because they brought him back, I'm like, oh, okay. Movie tricks.
Yeah.
They got me.
It doesn't have quite as much weight, I don't think.
Exactly. Not that I don't want him to die. I don't want him to die. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh my God, no.
It's just when a major character goes, like it's a big thing, and I think it would have been a good. She gets the Force lightning. We find out she's got this dark side kind of power, and she kills Chewbacca on accident. And like, wow, that sucks. That's a real bummer. But I'm glad he's alive.
The way Kylo looks at her when she does it, the way he's confused, but he's terrified, but he understands. It's Adam Driver's sensational as Kylo Ren.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely, 100%. Do you think he's a little jealous?
100%. It's that Anakin Skywalker. It's that streak of jealousy. It's that.
Yeah.
Why is it not me? Why am I not good enough?
Yeah. Why can't I do Force lightning?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm glad I wasn't the only one thinking that. That's cool.
I wasn't mad that she's a Palpatine. It makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, there was something. I don't know if I figured it out or whatnot. I thought it was either she was Han's in Leia's daughter or Obi-Wan's. I didn't see Palpatine coming because they never teased him until the very last movie. So I didn't even know he was still in play, but I guess he was. I guess, fool
somehow.
Goes. Yeah. Do you cosplay as anybody else just other than Rey and Dark Rey? Or
I've done Rey, Dark Rey, Daisy Ridley's character Violet from the film Chaos Walking with Tom Holland.
Oh, okay.
Didn't get the best reviews. I think it was her first film after Star Wars, so that's all. That one's always a bit shaky.
Did that just come out?
Yeah, it came out about 6 months ago or so.
Right. I remember seeing the trailer for that. Okay.
Bright orange top, really, really short blonde hair.
Okay.
That was a super easy costume. I've cosplayed Elektra from the Daredevil, Netflix Daredevil series.
Very cool. Yeah.
The sort of casual when she's got the top that's also a mask and the little jacket and the sai.
Yeah.
I've done Sylvie, which is one of my favorite cosplays from the Loki TV series. I bought the costume almost immediately as soon as it came out. I was like, that's it, that's mine. I got the wig and the horns and it. Fabulous, love that costume to pieces.
I picture there's a whole costume department in a closet somewhere.
Yes. Yes, there's boxes, there's stuff hung up in the wardrobe. It's everywhere.
That's amazing.
Props, wigs, wig caps, bobby pins.
That's more power to you. I wish I have never dressed up as anybody. And I wonder who I would dress up as if I could.
One of the clones, obviously.
I could do a clone.
Clone armor's pretty comfy, actually. You can get a bit people put fans in the helmets and stuff to keep you cool. And
oh, that makes sense.
I'd love to do a Rey Mandalorian, some kind of mashup between the two. I don't know how that would work or what it would even look like, but it's there. I have 50 cos plans and no time, energy, or money to do any of them.
That's great, though, that you got an idea of, you got a vision. I mean, you got a grand vision. This is great.
Very grand.
That's awesome.
I need twice as much space and 3 wardrobes, but we'll manage.
Because Sabine, isn't she kind of she's a Mandalorian and she, she kind of, she's, I don't know, from Rebels.
Yes, this funny fact. Rebels I've also not seen, but as Book of Boba Fett finished, because Kyle wanted to keep the Wednesday shows, which I'm totally fine with. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's been a really nice format for us. Okay. We're going to start watching Rebels so that I can watch it.
Oh, good.
I'm so excited.
There's some good stuff in there that I have no idea exists. John keeps telling me I got to watch it. I've seen some, but not all of it. I think he might be ready. Okay, this is perfect because I think we were going to get into the rapid fire questions. Let me see if I can add him.
You guys need to decide if you're teaming up or if you want to pit against each other. How solid is your friendship today?
We're pretty good. Are you still there? You're still there, right? Right, Charlie?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Hey.
Okay, there. John's coming in, and Charlie, real quick, are we keeping you too long? I'm sorry.
No, not at all. That's not a problem.
Okay, I'm super sorry if we do.
No, my partner's just bought Cyberpunk, so I don't have a boyfriend right now, so that's fine.
John, we don't see your camera, dude. Hello?
Okay.
My hit. Oh.
No camera for some reason.
Yeah, no camera.
Crap.
Dude, you used perfect timing. We just got to the rapid fire. Like literally, the next thing I was going to get to was the rapid fire questions. Yeah.
I have been talking this poor man's ear off for the last hour and 15 minutes.
Charlie, come on. You have not been. This is great. No, this is great to get to know. We're complete strangers, but like she's been absolute treat to
It's been a pleasure. It's been such a pleasure. Oh my goodness, thank you.
I'll let John kind of take it from John. You got your questions ready to go, or introduce yourself. Talk, Charlie, John, Charlie.
A pleasure.
Speak
Hi.
amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic.
Well, what's kind of cool is I can actually listen to our podcast and hear what happened.
Okay.
You can hear all the terrible things Lito's been saying about you, all the horrible, mean.
Oh, we've known each other for 30 years.
At least.
He's always saying terrible things.
That's insane. You said you guys met in 3rd grade?
Yep.
That's adorable.
First day, you probably told her all of that, right? First day of 3rd grade, new kids at a new school.
New kids to school.
Yeah.
Buddies for life.
And now we bond over Star Wars.
Aww.
Exactly.
Trying to figure out why my camera doesn't work. This is the way.
Wow. Well said.
Hang on one sec.
We gotta get that camera up and running.
I know. I don't know what the heck.
I feel deprived.
Reboot, like unplug and plug it back in. That always works.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again?
Hey, isn't there a show, IT Crowd, and that was on a recording?
IT Crowd, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, you know IT Crowd. Oh my God. This man's done his homework.
Yeah, it's on a recording. Make sure to unplug and plug back in. Yeah, you see the background? I told you. It's so much fun doing his.
Hey, look, the Razor Crest. Can you see it?
Yeah,
I need a minute. Hang on.
Yeah, minimize my screen, make his screen the full size, and just go to town on the background.
Oh, I can move too.
Are you?
Yeah, get out of the way.
Rancho Obi-Wan. Is this what I'm seeing right now? Is it? Jesus Christ.
You ever see that movie Fanboys?
Yes, I have unfortunately watched Fanboys.
Oh no, unfortunately.
That's a good one.
No, you didn't like it?
Early 2000s films humor doesn't always sit the best these days.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah.
Understand.
I say no more. Nudge, nudge. Know what I mean.
Hey, look. It's the fire spray.
Oh.
She's not a purist, John. Don't worry.
No, I'm not. No, don't worry.
You see the Spaceball stuff?
Oh, Spaceballs. God, I love a bit of Spaceballs.
I'm so glad John got to come in.
Did you get your heating fixed? Did you get your water tank fixed?
Fingers crossed it's working as of right now, so it's been a day.
He's got an astromech droid working on it.
Yeah, my R2 unit's out there. He's
saving the day. This could be a 3-hour episode, I think. I'm sorry. I'm going to call it right now.
I'm not fussed. I'm really not fussed.
That's awesome.
So what did I miss? Give me the highlights. Give me the rundown.
Okay, this is so good. I think we've introduced we introduced ourselves. Charlie told us about her history with Lightsaber Radio and how it all came to be, and we talked about her Star Wars, and what it means to her and her trilogies and her cosplay. We talked about cosplaying and all the cosplays that she does. Did we get all the characters that you did? You said Electra, Rey, Dark Rey, Daisy Ridley in the new movie. I'm afraid I cut you off. You might have had more.
I think that's it for now. I think that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. We talked about the sequel trilogy and Rey and Force Lightning.
Nice.
Comic-Cons and lack thereof at this point.
Oh, I missed it. I missed it dreadfully.
She showed me her lightsabers, and those are the custom ones.
You want lightsabers? I got lightsabers.
Oh, heck no.
Yeah.
Are those like the Disney ones, or? This
is the Disney one, the newest one that came out. I forgot that I'd pre-ordered it, checked my bank account, and went,
oh.
Not the smartest. It's fine. It's the lightsaber. It's worth it. And this is my pride and joy, my absolute baby. This is my custom-built Graflex that my very, very talented friend built for me.
No way. That's so cool.
It's made from a cast of the original Graflex, like flash gun. So it's screen accurate, and it's been modded to fit episode 7 specifically when Rey collects it out of the box, because then she reforges it in episode 8 and then buries it in episode 9. So I guess
you guess.
Then she spent the next 3 episodes trying to find out where she buried it to get it back, right?
Sweet.
I know.
Hang on a second. It's unnecessarily bright. I have shone it in my eyes once and I will never do it again.
Like that Luke meme.
Yes, I am 100% that.
That's great.
It's my baby, my pride and joy.
That's so cool. And it's custom. That makes it like better than a store-bought.
The 3D printed chassis inside it says, "I am all of the Jedi" in Arabesh, which is the nerdiest thing ever. But very cool at the same time. Thank you. My friend Paul was like, "I can 3D print some Arabesh on it if you want. What do you want it to say?"
That's amazing how people can see it on screen for half a second, a small part of the screen, and then decipher the Arabesh and tell you what's going on in like a matter of like minutes. That's wild.
Would you guys like a bit of a Star Wars plot hole?
Okay.
Yeah.
There is no X and B in Arabesh, and Arabesh is considered like the standard basic language of Star Wars. Why are there X-wings and B-wings?
Oh.
Dang.
Wow.
I have researched, I have looked, I have tried desperately to figure it out, and there is not a single explanation anywhere.
So you're like all over this.
We got an expert.
Bugging me for days. There's no explanation. X-wings are called X-wings because they're shaped like X's, but if there's no X in the alphabet, how do they know what an X looks like?
Wow.
All right, George.
I gotta go rethink my life now. So.
I'm sorry, I've ruined all of that merch. You need to sell it right now.
Mic drop. And Charlie's
crazy.
out.
Deeply upset.
She just drops that bomb on us, and we're like, okay. What do we do now, John? Like, I think I don't know.
Well,
quit? No.
We learn something all the time, don't we, Lito?
Absolutely. We're here to learn. We've said that many a time.
I cried a little bit about Star Wars. That happened quite a few times. Shed a few tears.
Oh yeah, we had some good discussions. We talked about the Clone Wars. We did their cosplaying and how you've you got into that, and she gets help from a community that
I do. There is a community on Facebook of only Rey cosplayers of all ages, races, genders, backgrounds, experience levels. There's anything from like kids with their dads who just want to make the costume for them to professional seamstresses who make costume pieces for a living. It's this huge community, and I would not have the costume that I do without any of them.
Oh, wow.
Because I started cosplaying going, I don't know how to sew. I don't know how to start a sewing machine. I don't know how to hand stitch. I don't know how to do any of this. And there were people left, right, and center going, this resource, here's this help. We found this really useful. And now I have an amazing costume that I look at every time I wear it and go, I made this.
That's
made
awesome.
it happen.
I made this.
You made it happen. That's
so
what
cool.
That's what people do that want stuff to. They find a way, and you found a way. You got it done.
Lito says that he's never cosplayed. Have you, John?
I have not, but
No?
I really want to. It started out as wanting to do Din Djarin, the Mando, but I'm like, he's kind of tall and I'm not. So then like I saw Boba Fett, like a year ago, in his cool, like newer version of his costume.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could pull that off. I'm about that height. And it's all about height, right? So I do have the Black Series Boba Fett re-armored helmet that my fiance's son bought me for Christmas. Yeah,
Go get it, dude.
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah.
It's
not in the
right
shop.
here. I sleep next
I
to
don't
it.
leave home without it. It's so cool. Like, I mean, you've probably seen these before, right, Charlie?
It looks straight off of the film set. It really does.
Right.
Charlie, you know how Boba got the dent, right? You're all
Cad
over
Bane
that.
shot him in the forehead.
Nice, yeah.
Right after he'd had that armor repainted and refinished, it was brand spanking new out of the shop, and Cad Bane went ping. How rude! What a way to start a friendship with somebody. What a way to,
Hey, John, guess what? Charlie saw the Star Wars. She started her Star Wars experience started with the Phantom Menace.
Nice.
I know, isn't that awesome? I don't know anybody that's the way it went. She started from episode 1 to the final episode.
Can I just say that is so wizard?
That is extremely wizard. Thank you.
That's awesome.
I've started using that in regular conversation, and I think I have a problem.
I'm trying to use it more.
No, I was given a copy of the Phantom Menace at like age 9 on VHS. Watched it solid every day for a good couple of years. Didn't realize there were any more because my parents didn't know either. It was. They knew a bit about Star Wars and that weird little green frog that spoke funny, and that was it. They weren't Star Wars people, so I was left to my own devices, which was Phantom Menace for 2 years, and then Attack of the Clones, and then Revenge of the Sith. And then I didn't watch the original trilogy till I was about 16 years old, and I'm 27 now.
Wow.
It took me a long time to get to them because I wasn't interested. It wasn't bright and shiny and colourful like the prequels. It wasn't CGI. It was old, weird, gross little puppets. But now I understand that that's like Jim Henson legacy. I mean, Yoda's voiced by Miss Piggy.
Yeah, Frank Oz, absolutely.
It's a masterclass in budget filmmaking and using whatever you can get, and that includes painting potatoes to make them look like asteroids. Like, it's a masterpiece. The whole thing is, and I fully appreciate it for what it is now. But I'm so glad that I got to experience them in the true order, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, that's wow.
You'll hear it, man. She says some pretty awesome stuff, and I kind of envy her, like seeing the story as, you know. I mean, now it being done, I was probably should have been watched. You know,
same.
We saw it, fragmented ways, but it's good that someone out there got to see it the way it was. Start to finish the right way, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So did he ask you what your favorite trilogy is?
Yeah, I said that if I had to choose, if I was forced, if there was a gun at my head and I was forced to choose, I would pick the prequels because that's the defining Star Wars for my childhood. That's what shaped me. That's what got me through difficult, hard times in my life. And if I wasn't at gunpoint, I'd say I'd like to have the prequels and the sequels because both are equally wonderful and important to me. Not that I don't love the original trilogy, I do, but that wasn't my Star Wars. The prequels is my Star Wars. And I'm fully happy to let the older fans have the original trilogy and love it the way that they do, because that's something I didn't experience. But I lived and breathed the prequels. I never understood the criticism. I never understood the hate towards it, never. Make any sense to me at all. Made me angry. So just this 14-year-old raging on Tumblr, like, stop being horrible to Hayden Christensen. Whose mind was I changing?
Yeah, I think you found a kindred spirit here, man. You know. Yeah.
I love it because I just kind of confessed that the prequels is my favorite trilogy, and I'm 40. So yeah. I love them. And similar to you. Revenge of the Sith, I guess, mostly for me was like a movie that pulled me out of a really dark time in my life. And it's my favorite movie. I love it. I watch it. I actually watch the Phantom Menace, I think, more now than anything. It's so good. It gets better all the time, right?
Yes, every time I watch it, I love it more. And oh my goodness.
And Charlie said I should read or listen to. I'll listen to the movie adaptations. I never thought there was much to add, but I guess there is. I
read the novelizations because they are exceptional.
Okay.
So
I've never done that either.
So much, particularly to do with Obi-Wan and Anakin's relationship, because as much as you get a little bit of a taste of it in the movies, and obviously more of it in Clone Wars, but the books flesh out particularly those younger years between the two of them, and that's something I felt was missing a little from, because obviously we have that gap between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, and suddenly Anakin's a young adult, and I was craving that gap in the middle, that bond and that relationship between them. And as I spoke about this earlier, Star Wars is about family. It's about found family.
Mm-hmm.
It always has been. It's home and community and comfort and closeness and finding family where you didn't have anyone. And that's Anakin. That was Anakin's story. And I wanted more of that as a fan because I'm a big softie.
Same here.
Yeah, I am too. I usually don't admit that I'm a softie, but I am.
That's okay. You could admit it. This is a safe space.
Yes, you're amongst friends. Charlie, I do got a question. It's not on the list, I don't think. And I don't know if it's like
Maverick.
Huh? Yeah, I think it's like. Do you see Star Wars as mainly a British film or an American film?
What an interesting question. What a really interesting. That is something I've never considered. It is American, but it feels English. And I don't know if that's going to make any sense. But I know a lot of it was filmed in England, and obviously quite a lot of the actors themselves are British, like Alec Guinness, Anthony Daniels. And I think having them in it and Ewan McGregor adds that real kind of flavour of Brit humour. And I think that's what's helped carry me through. And it's never felt like this kind of Americanised thing that we adopted or became part of our culture unwillingly. Star Wars has been as part of British culture as it has been American culture, I think. I would say I see it as both, really.
Okay. That's pretty awesome.
How do you guys feel about it? Do you see it as a very kind of, or do you recognize there's sort of threads from all over, really?
I'm the same. Like, I predominantly see it as an American film made by British production and British actors. But
Yeah,
because George is American, I tend to side with it being an American film.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I definitely see that it's a collective, also, you know what I mean? It took both countries, I think, to make this happen, which is very, very cool.
Teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah, for sure. So I've always wanted to ask someone, I've never been able, like, we're in Cleveland, Ohio. Like, how many, people from the UK are around here? Like, zero.
Very true.
So I always wanted to ask someone who is a true Star Wars fan that question. I am. And I appreciate you answering.
I think you are the first person to ever ask me that question. So all the brownie points, that's... Damn, I'm going to be chewing over that for days now. I'm going to go downstairs and be like, Nick, what do you think? Let's talk about this for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, hopefully one of these days I'll get to ask that question to the Star Wars Session guys. Do you know those guys? Any chance?
No, we haven't been introduced yet.
Okay. Those guys do a pretty cool job.
I do. I love their show.
Yeah.
I love all Star Wars podcasts. I love... it's like a smorgasbord. Smorgasbord of Star Wars. Try saying that drunk.
Isn't that great how you can watch the episode, you can have all like the, go to all the different review shows, get everyone's different opinions, have your own opinions, and then you can share, everything. And it's just like so much fun. I mean, this is like a blast to kind of like be a part of, if you ask me.
I agree wholeheartedly. I did not think I'd enjoy it as much as I did, but I'm obsessed. I don't think I want to do anything else with myself, really. I'm set. If this is my job for the rest of my life, that's absolutely fine by me.
Wow. That would be an amazing job. You know what I noticed for myself this past week is I've listened to Star Wars podcasts that I've never listened to before, which I find myself doing occasionally. I guess backstory, Lito and I had been talking about having a guest on our show. I mean, we're at 71 here, and we were talking about it forever. So I would go out and I would check out other shows, see what everybody's doing. See, you were one of the first Peasons. You're the one of the first Peasons. Yeah, that's a new word. You're one of the first people that I was like, okay, Charlie's cool. We got to get Charlie on. But since the Boba Fett show ended, I've been listening to other shows this past week that I've never listened to, just because it's fun to hear what everyone else is thinking. And there's so many different opinions and ideas out there. It's crazy.
Our last Boba Fett show, our big recap, it's been difficult. It's been quite a split opinion on our show. There were two of us who really weren't that keen at the beginning, really weren't that on board, had quite a lot of issues with it. And getting to the recap and being able to sit together and have this really intelligent, really rich discussion about what we liked, what we didn't like, what we would change, what we were theorizing. And we listened and we communicated, and it was this amazing just togetherness of Star Wars fans, and it's smooth like butter, man. It really was.
You say that you did live streaming. How does that work?
We use a specific program that lets us stream to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter all at the same time. So we schedule it in. That automatically gets scheduled onto our various social medias. We promote that, and then we go live, and you see us as we're doing video and everything? Oh wow. Yeah. We upload the video episodes onto YouTube, and then the audio from that is cut and then uploaded separately to Spotify. So we have our Spotify numbers ticking by as well, just to keep everything running. Because we started off as an audio podcast only, and that got us a pretty big fan base and a pretty big standard kind of weekly set of listens. So we wanted to keep that going, because not everybody can join the live shows. Not everybody's able to take the time out of their work days or so having the audio podcast means there's options for people who want to catch up the next day, or while they're going to work, and it seems to be it was difficult. I was terrified of going live, self-conscious and unsure of myself, and worried how I'd come across and I wouldn't be able to say anything. But I love it. I love it so much. It makes me so happy.
What episode number are you guys on?
We're coming up to our 50th episode, I think, which is insane.
Oh. Wow, it's going to be a big one, right?
I think so. I actually don't know if the episode we're having this week, we're having a really, really special guest, a guy called Details. He's done creature effects for Force Awakens, Rogue One, Solo, Last Jedi. He was also in a British rap group, very, very popular in the 90s. So that's another thing. He's performed alongside Janet Jackson. He's got a huge, varied career. We messaged him out of the blue, and he was like, yeah, I'll come on your show.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Okay,
That's
my
great.
dude.
See? You never know who's a good Star Wars fan, a big Star Wars fan, and is willing to come and talk to you about it. That's great.
I'm sweating already, honestly. I'm so nervous.
So out of your week, what percentage would you say is like your Star Wars takes up your time? Like 100% of your week, what percentage takes up Star Wars?
Anywhere between about 60 and 80%, depending on what's going on. Like the last 2 weeks have been packed. We had the Book of Boba Fett finale, and then we had a show with a 1313 podcast. Okay. Really sound bunch of guys. Love them to pieces. Big shout out. Really, really, really good podcast. We had that, and then we had Wednesday, we had Friday with them, we had our Saturday show, and then I had other stuff to do on Monday to do with cosplay things, and then we had our recap show on Wednesday, and then I had this with you guys on Friday, and then we've got our Saturday show tomorrow, and then I can breathe.
Wow. Dang.
It has not stopped. Our social media's interaction has like tripled. Don't know what's happened. Suddenly loads more people, suddenly loads more interest, so I've got to keep on top of that and write the quiz questions, do the research, do the journalism. The more the merrier. The busier I am, the happier I am, because finishing uni was difficult.
Okay.
I went from everything to nothing, and I hated it. I hated having no structure, no reason to get up and do, to focus, to be productive. And weirdly, the podcast fell in my lap. Lightsaber Radio appeared at the time I really needed it. The Force intervened. The Force intervened amazingly.
Isn't that funny?
I know, it was very strange.
That's great. That's
and
great.
for it to all fall into fall into place the way it did, I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very thankful for the huge amount of support from my peers and from you guys, from 1313, from the whole Star Wars community. We couldn't have done any of this without the support behind it. This community is insane. Drives me up the wall sometimes. I want to smash everybody's heads together, but I love the Star Wars community.
Yeah, that about sums that one up, right?
That's not a
Sometimes I just want to...
Random question. That's not a Battlestar Galactica shirt that you're wearing, right?
No, it's an Empire Strikes Back t-shirt. You just can't see the bit at the bottom that says Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. This like the writing kind of looks like the Battlestar at the...
A little bit it does, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to... About to say, that's how John and I got started, is watching Battlestar Galactica, the newer version. I don't know if you're into that.
I was Farscape and Andromeda. That was my jam.
Okay.
In terms of those kinds of shows, I'm trying to think. I don't think I've seen much Battlestar Galactica. I don't. Or am I thinking of the horrible John Travolta film? I can't.
Oh, you're talking about Battlefield Earth.
Oh, Battlefield
There
Earth.
we go.
Yeah.
I get them mixed up in my head. My apology.
Yeah, we did that on Sci-Fi Rewind, by the way. We talked about that.
It's just Scientology propaganda, which I didn't realize until my partner told me, and I was like, sorry, what? No. So, yeah. Oh, I tell a lie. I have watched Battlestar Galactica. I take that back. The newer seasons, newer. Yes, I have.
Okay. That's funny.
Remote control R2-D2?
Yes.
Is it?
It is. It's a remote control R2-D2, BB-8, and Dio. But you can't.
Is the R2 like this biggish?
He's about this big.
I have one.
I have far too much stuff. I have helmets and Grogu's, and there's like a Babu Frick down there that talks, and
yes,
a moving pork. There's an entire box in there of Funko Pops, like Star Wars Funko. I've got nearly every Rey Funko Pop, because one day I decided I needed all of them.
I mean, why not?
We talked about this in the toy episode. John and I, we had an episode just on toys, and we talked about how it's an obsession and you want everything. That's why I don't get started, because I want it all.
You're smart. You're smart. I'm really dumb.
I want everything.
It's got Star Wars on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
John, did you want to get through the rapid fire?
Oh, yeah. Now, the downside to this is I missed, 90% of the episodes, so some of these might have already been asked.
Okay.
That's fair.
I just went. I asked everything above. So.
Okay.
Oh, Charlie's quiz is next. Oh boy, I skipped.
Oh, you didn't do that part.
No, we didn't do that.
No, I wanted to wait for you, because I wasn't sure if you guys wanted to team up or if you wanted to pit against each other.
No, team up for sure.
Yeah, Lito doesn't like to compete with me.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a competitor. I'm a co-op. I'm a co-op guy instead of multiplayer.
Then we'll call this Lightsaber Radio versus Clone Army Radio and see how that goes.
Nice.
All of these questions are clone related.
Okay,
Clone
great.
themed.
Sweet.
Awesome. Question number one. I have asked this question on our show before, and people got so upset that they didn't know the answer. What is 5's full designation number?
Wait, it's like CT 55555.
No.
Don't tell me there's a different number in there than 5.
There is.
Wait. I should know this. Use the guy's name for like 70 episodes.
He's not 5s then.
Oh, gosh.
See, now you're finding Star Wars plot holes. Is 5's 5's?
5's really isn't 5's.
No.
Now I have to rethink the tattoo I have.
Maybe we shouldn't have guests on our show. Just kidding.
I'd like to buy a 4. Is there a 4 in there?
No, you can't buy a 4. I'm afraid the answer is 5's full designation number is CT275555.
I've heard that before too.
CT27.
Yes.
Yeah, CT27.
Wow. We learn.
Do we know what the 27 is for?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't research that far ahead. Don't catch me out like this.
There it is.
Question number 2. We know that the clone troopers were grown on Kamino, but where were the shock troopers secretly grown?
Shock troopers.
Yeah.
Shock trooper clones? Are those clones?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones with the red. I want to say that was it Coruscant?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. 1 point
See?
to Clone Army Radio.
You see what happens when you team up? Two minds are better
You get
than
more
one.
answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shock troopers were the elite Coruscant Guard, so they were grown in secret
Is it
on Coruscant instead of on Kamino.
Coruscant or Coruscant? I'm sorry.
I say Coruscant,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
there may be variations.
Yeah.
I'm never very good with pronunciations. George likes to, whoever's creating these words, whether it's George specifically or not, sort it out.
I think that was
Right.
Timothy Zahn that created that one.
Oh, fair
From the-
enough.
Yeah, from the Heir of the Empire. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, in the audiobook, it is Coruscant as well. So
Mm.
I don't know.
Of
I've
course
only
I'm
ever.
right. I'm me.
There you go.
Question number 3. What military unit are the troopers 5s and Echo part of?
So wait, say that again.
Yeah, real quick. This is a good one.
What military unit are the troopers 5 and Echo a part of?
I know this one, dude. We did this episode.
I feel like it's a trick question, though.
No, it's not a fucking trick question.
It's a bargain trick question.
No, they are troopers. They're ARC troopers, right?
No.
No,
501st, man.
What is the name of the military unit that they're part of?
it's not. It's not Echo Squad or what's the squad that they're when they're
Well, that was
the-
Domino Squad.
Domino Squad.
Yes, there you go.
Domino
Oh, is that what you're
Squad.
doing?
See?
Yeah.
See, I'm
Teamwork.
thinking 501st, but
Teamwork.
okay. We did an
Their
episode on
specific
Domino
little
Squad.
Yeah. I knew it was in those episodes. I knew the answer was in one of those. Those are the first ones that we talked about when it was just John and I.
Oh,
Was-
when we went from 3 to a 2, yeah.
Right.
Question number 4. Who legally owns the clone troopers?
The New Republic.
The
Dang
new-
it.
Wouldn't it just be the Republic? And that's still wrong.
Oh, the Republic. Yeah.
No.
Who legally owns?
Yeah.
Who legally
Every
owns-
single clone trooper who legally
Oh,
owns
wait.
them.
The guy who put in the order.
Cypher Diaz?
Cypher
No.
Diaz.
No.
It's not.
What?
Wow, this is a good one. I'm just going to
Wait a
start
minute.
throwing stuff at you until you're
Go
like,
ahead.
No, how could it not be?
Kaminoans?
Yes. According
Yeah.
to Lama Su, they are Kaminoan property.
Okay. Kind
Wait,
of felt that.
but don't they sell that property to the Republic then for a price? But don't they take? That's how it works, right?
I always
Kaminoan-
assumed they were selling the army as like a force rather than the individual clones. I think if it came down to it, the Kaminoans have rights to the clones because they're the ones that made them. I'm guessing.
Oh,
Theorizing?
Interesting. Kind of like
see
they grew
them
the
trying.
crop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Question. I like this question. Question number 5. What creature is painted on 5's helmet?
Oh, the Rishi eel.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys
The
are
Rishi Moon.
amazing.
The Rishi Moon. That's what they were stationed on. The Rishi Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 5's was saved from an attack.
Yep. He was
He was
I
a
think,
survivor of the attack.
Right. Poor Cut Up didn't
cut
make
up. Cut up didn't
Yeah.
make it.
I
Poor
read
Cut
about
Up.
that.
Oh God, no, cut up. And then that was it.
Question number 6. Whose idea was it to insert behavioral modification biochips into the clones?
Palpatine.
Trying to think.
It was this decision was made a long while before what happens with the clone army happens with the clone army in Order 66.
Was this in the episode season 7 of Clone Wars? I think it might have been in there.
I couldn't possibly tell you.
I think I might be onto something. Focus in on season 7.
Wait, it's the Kaminoans, isn't it? No, they say the Jedi did it.
No.
I could have swore
Ish.
they said the Jedi did it. And that's why... Who was it? Somebody was
Behavior modification. You remember that clone that kind of went haywire and killed
Tup.
Tup?
My
Yeah.
boy Tup.
Yeah, he killed the sister of one of those Jedis. Isn't that they talk about that there, don't they?
No, I think this is... I want to say it's from season 7, like you were saying, when Rex digs up that info about 5s.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. It's not the
Dooku.
Jedi, though?
It's not Dooku.
Is it Shakti?
No.
No.
Is it,
Damn.
is it Lama Su again?
No.
Dang it.
Ah,
Are we cold? Are we warm?
You're very cold.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
man. See, I want
Boy.
to say it's Palpatine, but I know that that's
No.
wrong.
Yeah, I already said that was my first guess.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
It's some. I understand the reason. Didn't we've talked about like the reasoning they put the chips in, right, to kind of control them or something?
I think we did a whole episode on this. That's why it's
Yeah.
driving me nuts that I can't remember.
We got to go back to our back catalog. Can you give us a minute, Charlie? We're gonna
Go ahead.
Let's go listen to some
rewind.
episodes real quick.
Punch it up on my phone here.
You said whose idea was it?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Come on, brain.
I don't think I've ever given the Lightsaber Radio lads this long. Goodness me.
Oh boy. We gotta speed it up here. Put it in the hyperactive.
Any guesses? Any other guesses? Any wilds?
You already
It's
said
really
Dooku,
frustrating.
didn't you?
You've already said the answer like a couple of questions back.
I did. We did.
Yeah.
Really? A couple
Yeah.
questions back.
Sifo-Dyas. No.
Yes.
Sifo-Dyas?
Yes.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, it was Sifo-Dyas' idea to put the behavioural chips in. And then Palpatine went, I'll use that, thanks.
Oh.
Palpatine said, work smarter, not harder.
Teamwork again. I don't
Yes.
I don't know if we get that point because that was like our 10th.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'll maybe deduct that one from the list. Question number 7. What is Hunter's full designation?
Hunter.
Bad Batch.
Oh, right. Rambo.
Rambo, yeah, Rambo.
Right. Oh
Hmm.
boy. They definitely got to say it in season 7 then when they show up for the first time.
I'm so not going to get this.
Yeah.
But this is actually a trick question.
He doesn't have one?
No, not that he doesn't have one. No one knows. It's a secret not to be shared with others. He's
Really?
very, very particular that nobody is allowed to know what his designation number is. Not even Omega.
Oh.
I wonder why.
I know. There's never an explanation past the fact that he likes to keep it a secret, but a mystery. Sorry, I don't mean to trick you like this. This is mean of me.
No, I like it.
That's good. That's good
like-
stuff.
I only have 8, 9, 10. I've got like 4 more, I think.
Awesome.
Question number 8. Who prevented Five's assassination attempt on Chancellor Palpatine?
Who prevented who?
Who prevented Five's assassination attempt on Chancellor Palpatine?
It was Shock T.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I almost said it was Commander Fox, but I had to remember that was later when he shot Fives. So
They all look the same. It's
I feel like you needed that one to like sort of recenter your winning streak.
Go, John. Go. Go, John. Go.
Question number 9. What type of armor did the Bad Batch wear?
Yeah, I know. Armor that could take straight up laser blast. It's kind of crazy.
There is a very specific name for the type of armor that they wear.
Not Beskar, though, is it?
No.
Because, I mean,
God, that'd be expensive.
for real.
Right.
But
For Wrecker, there'd be a lot of Beskar.
I know.
Dang. This is all you, Lito. You got this.
For real?
You got to
You
carry
gonna
us,
throw, you
man.
gonna throw me this one? I'm gonna go ahead on a limb. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say it. Clone armor.
Wow, that's
Boom.
that's definitely a guess. Definitely not in quite the right area. What they wear is Khatan class commando armor, named after the Khatans, which are a dangerous creature that prowled the deeper, lightless levels of Kashyyik's complex vertical ecosystem. What a sentence!
Oh, so it's like from Chewbacca's
Yeah,
home planet. Oh boy,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that they were armor makers or whatnot, or they were named after
apparently
this.
so.
It was just
Wow.
named after it.
Okay.
I totally knew the answer. I just wanted to see if Lito did.
Yeah, no, I didn't. You
Did you
threw me
know?
the ball and I fumbled it, or I kicked it out of bounds. I guess
You're like that guy in the Super Bowl who caught the football and then immediately proceeded to drop it. Far too funny. Far too funny for 3 o'clock in the morning.
You watched the Super Bowl?
I did.
Oh, how about that?
All of my podcast guys were watching it, and I was like, right, they're going to talk about it. I don't want to be the only girl in the room who doesn't understand the sports. So I bought some Budweiser, I cooked some pizza, and I
There
sat
you go.
down and I watched the Super Bowl, and I understood none of it, but I really enjoyed myself.
That's
Good
great.
for you. Good for you for just checking something else out. That's cool. and then
Never
sitting
watched
through
an
it.
American football match before, and I guess I started with watching like the best of the best, the cream of the crop. So
Oh yeah. It's not a match though. Just a game.
just a game. Sorry, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I sometimes forget that wrestling doesn't apply to other sports.
Yes, a wrestling fan. Gotta love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How far
I do
back
ring announcing in my spare time. So
Do you really?
yeah, my partner's a wrestling promoter /
wow.
ex-professional wrestler. Yeah.
Someone we would have heard of, like WWF style, or
No, not quite.
Oh.
Like British indie. He
Oh.
ran a very, very popular independent wrestling company in the UK in the early 2000s.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
And now we watch wrestling, and it's amazing because I'd never seen a wrestling match when we first met, and he showed me one, and I went, I know who the Undertaker is. Does that count?
So, we have different here. We've got obviously WWF, and then WCW. But when we were growing up, and then this other thing called like ECW, which is like extreme wrestling, right?
I love ECW. I have such a soft spot for ECW. Oh my goodness.
Right. Would your partner's type of wrestling be more like WWF
was,
or ECW?
He started watching kind of like peak Attitude Era, so like height of Steve Austin.
Okay.
These huge big characters. So WCW was like the same level as WWF. He watched all of it. Any
Okay.
wrestling, Japanese wrestling, British
Japanese,
wrestling.
right? Yeah, we got into a little bit of Japanese as well.
Love Joshi wrestling. That's the talent that these women have. I can't even stand on my own 2 feet, let alone like insult from the top rope. Like, I've consumed more wrestling than I ever thought was possible. I have a wrestling tattoo. Like it's a whole thing.
Really?
Yeah, I have the women's championship belt behind my ear.
Oh, that's so cool.
John's got tattoos. I don't subscribe to that.
Do you not subscribe? Can you not commit to the?
No, it's a long-term thing for me, and I don't think I can do
I
it.
have so many. I have neck tattoos. I've got BB-8 on my thigh, which is going to become a whole Star Wars leg at some point, hopefully,
Awesome.
when I'm not Paul.
Yeah, I know. I would probably have a lot more tattoos if I didn't have to buy a house and stuff.
Oh yeah, just life and bills and.
Right. So who is your favorite wrestler before we get back to the...
You can't ask me questions like this. It's too complicated. My favorite current wrestler is Seth Rollins. I have he was the one that I fell in love with when I started watching wrestling with Nick, and I have like lots of t-shirts and lots of signed posters. I was really, really into him. But I have a really, really big soft spot for Dusty Rhodes.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And I was like really sad that he's like, when I started watching wrestling, obviously he passed away, and it was so sad to sort of watch. Like he's like the granddad of wrestling, and there's something about his energy and his personality that I just really latched onto, and I was like, I love that man. I love that man so much.
Wasn't his title? Wasn't he the American Dream?
He was the
Dusty
American
Rhodes.
Dream. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream.
Wow.
He was awesome.
Yeah,
He
Dustin
was.
Rhodes was awesome too.
And yeah,
It's a
Dustin
good
Gold
wrestler.
Dust.
Yeah, Gold Dust. Yeah, the best.
Cody's quit AEW and moved to WWE, but I think it's a work and nobody believes me.
Do you think, did he really go to WWE?
No.
Or okay.
It's a work. It's one I think I'd put money on it at this point. They're doing a really good job of selling it, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a work. It's
Do you
not
think
real.
do you think he's actually going to go heel? Is that like the end game of it?
Probably. Knowing
Sounds about right.
Cody and his love for theatrics and the flair for the dramatic, it's probably going to be like a whole... I'm sorry, I got super distracted. I was in the middle of asking you questions about Star Wars.
It's all
Anyway,
good.
question number 10 was, who was the final clone to be produced?
Omega, right?
No, that was like a
That
rumor, I think, at one point, was people thought she was the last clone, but she's not.
I guess because of the whole Alpha and Omega beginning and end thing.
Right.
I think we theorized that on our show as well. I think I brought that up.
The last
Yeah.
clone ever produced. Why do I feel like... Is this something that they said in the Bad Batch?
I think it's from Clone Wars.
Okay.
Got a feeling.
Damn.
I can give you a clue. His
Yes.
nickname and his designation number start with T.
T.
Trying to rhyme it with C. We always use C as our go-to answer to questions.
Yeah. Can we have a multiple choice?
Can you have a multiple choice?
And have the answer be C, please?
She already told us T, so that might be kind of hard.
Well, she could say like T1. Right T. And
I feel like I should know this.
I have zero to no idea.
No idea.
Yeah, because I fail you as a clone, and I'm going to go ahead and...
We are Clone Army Radio, and we're like,
the clone.
That's absolutely fair.
A rural farm boy kind of did the same thing to us, remember? John, he's like, oh, you guys do quizzes?
He's a wicked man. Goodness me. Every single time he's in the chat with the answers like this, right there, like in seconds. And I'm like, I spent hours writing these questions, you absolute monster. You cannot come into my chat and ruin it. No, I'm joking, Rural Fun Boy. I love you. Thank you for supporting our show.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, he's great. He's like,
he's like
a human encyclopedia. He's got it all. But you know why? Because he listens to Star Wars
Hundreds
podcasts.
Of Star Wars podcasts. Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's amazing.
All right.
I'll give you one last clue. What's the other word for pirating things off of the internet that you're not supposed to take?
Encrypt? No. Another word for pirating?
You use a specific type of program.
Ripper?
Begins with a T.
Oh, begins with a T.
Trip? No, I'm just kidding.
Trip.
Transfer? No.
Oh, what is it?
Transformer.
Torrent?
Yes.
Torrent.
Okay.
Yes. Torrent was the last clone to be
Look
produced, or TX828.
TX828. That's a great one. I like that.
I like anything with THX in it.
Right.
Everywhere. It's a Lucas reference. It's a Lucas reference. It's a Lucas reference.
Hey, Charlie, was there really a 44444 at all? Like there was there? I mean, I'm sure there was. Like was he in anything? Do you know? Is there a fours basically? Because that used to be my clone army name, or it is my clone army name. A fours. You know. Let's legitimize.
There you go. CT26444. 4444. His nickname is Slash because he had a slash in his designation number. It was CC80/425518. That was his attack battalion number. And yeah, his clone trooper is CT264444. So there is.
Okay.
I just start calling you Slash from now on.
I just pulled that guy out of thin air. Yeah.
He looks like every other clone.
That's awesome.
Massive respect to the voice actors who tried their absolute hardest to differentiate the clones as much as possible, excluding things like hair and facial features, because I can imagine it would be really easy to slip into doing the same voice for all of them.
Oh, right. Bradley Baker?
Yeah.
That who does them all? I know. That guy's Academy Award winning. Yeah.
Like the Bad Batch ones blew me away. Like I was already like, this guy's great, but then you hear the extreme differences with those characters. Like, how does he do it? I wish I could do that.
Magic.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Voice acting fascinates me, but I can only do posh British, so bit limited. Question number 11. We all know that all the adult clones were played by Tamara Morrison and the child clones were played by Daniel Logan, but what actor played the teenage clones?
He's got this. I kick it.
I have the action figure that looks like the actor. I'm never going to remember his name, though.
Kick it, John. Tell her.
Picture him.
Give her the answer.
I
don't start beating around the bush. Just do it.
You do it.
I don't know it. I don't know it.
Do
it. Begins with a B.
Oh my god.
Babu Frick.
Babu Frick. Yes. No. Bodhi Taylor.
And now I'm like, that's
that makes sense. Everyone does that, you know. That seems to be a running theme with Charlie's. I'll say the answer and they go, that was it.
You got to take some pride in being able to stump us, though. Come on.
I do take an awful lot of pride. I'm just not showing it because I don't want to seem like an asshole. Your final question is, who was the final surviving clone?
Oh. Final surviving clone that's not on Bad Batch?
Yeah.
Okay. Rex?
No, I can tell you where he first appeared. This particular clone first appeared in season 2 of the Clone Wars.
Gregor?
Oh,
I love Gregor. He's so weird.
Gregor's dead though, isn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought. What's that guy's name? Season 2. I feel like, did he show up in the Bad Batch? Is that the guy?
I don't think so.
Oh, the guy in the...
So it's not the farmer
from the
guy
farm.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Echo, right?
No.
No, not Echo.
I was actually going to say Boba Fett, but I don't think that that's correct.
No, I wish it was, but it's not.
Charlie, on that note, do you think is Boba Fett like is he a clone, or is he? I mean, because is Boba Fett and Jango Fett brothers or father and son?
Oh,
if
you
they're
asked me
identical.
this once.
This is like asking the whole Loki and Sylvie question. Like, is it narcissistic? Is it self-incest? Is it weird? I mean, technically, if you have identical twins, they are a clone of each other. They still come from you. They're still made from you, but they are your children. So I would apply that same logic to Jango and Boba. He just happens to be all of Jango's DNA rather than half of Jango's DNA, but he still is raised to be his own person, independent of his father's genetic material, if that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
I wouldn't call Boba a clone, because the unaltered part of his status is really essential to the fact that he ages like a human. He is a human being. His body behaves as a human body behaves. So sticky, tricky. What do you guys think?
I agree with you. You think they're what? They're brothers? Or?
They're brothers, yeah.
They're
They
brothers.
just call
I don't see it.
Yeah, but it just the age difference makes them father and son. But like, I think they're brothers. They're clones. He's an identical copy. That's not a son. You need like a third party to make a son happen. That's an identical copy of himself. That's a clone.
But it's almost like adoption. He's raising him to be his son. So
Right. No, he takes on a fatherly role, but in reality, like they're identical clones. They look the same and have everything, the same voice, same everything. It's identical copy, just a younger version. That's all, Okay.
The answer to the question, the last question, is the final surviving clone is CT6116, aka Kix. He first appeared in season 2 of the Clone Wars and later appeared in a short story and comic set around the time of The Force Awakens, where he was woken from 50 years in stasis to find the Clone Wars over.
Oh, that's
wow.
like
There's a comic?
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's not one that I've read. I've only just
okay.
started getting into the comics.
Okay.
excellent.
I'll have to check that out. That's awesome. I love Kix.
I love that there's a clone who just went to sleep for a bit and has woken up in it. It's like a Captain America, isn't it?
Yeah, right?
For real.
I wonder what happened with his inhibitor chip.
Maybe it discontinues itself after a period of time, maybe if it's not activated or not used.
Or he's out there hunting for Rey right now.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yes. Now that I would pay money to see.
That'd be kind of cool.
Like a Terminator. Like, are you Rey Palpatine?
No, I'm Rey Skywalker. Okay, see you later.
All right. We got to wrap this up.
I'm fine. Honestly, I'm fine. I have one more little bonus question that I was going to ask, because I guarantee that nobody in the history of the world would. I don't even think Rural Farm Boy would know the answer to this. What is the droid AZ's full name?
AZ's?
Mm-hmm.
AZ from the Clone Wars.
AZ-10.
Yes.
It's like AZ3. You want the full thing, though?
Mm-hmm.
I'll never get that. I know there's like an AZ31, and then I'm done. That's not even. There's a 3 after the Z, though, right?
I thought there was a 10 in there.
AZ. Crap, I don't know. I thought because he called him AZ3 at one point.
Okay. AZ's full name, oh Jesus Christ, is AZI 345218962464987213137.
Okay, I forgot the I. I forgot the I, so it would have been AZI3, and then I would have stopped.
That's like people knowing the pi thing, you know.
I wonder if it's some, like, I don't know, Fibonacci sequence or something. Like, it's a really deep kind of math reference to something.
It's got to be the circumference of a circle or something, you know, the pi, because it's very specific. Or they're trying to do the same thing. Because he's kind of a circle, you know, the robot.
He's very cute.
Oh yeah.
I have such a soft spot for the droids in Star Wars. Such a soft spot.
Well, they're always picked on, you know.
They are droid rights. I spend a lot of time on my podcast defending droid rights and being told, how can you personify something that isn't a person?
That's not right, you know.
Let me hug them. The way Poe scratches BB-8's tummy when he hasn't seen him in ages and BB-8 rolls up to him is the purest, most precious moment in Star Wars, and no one can take that away from me. When it goes,
It is pretty beautiful. I will agree.
Yeah, and who else would you want piloting your ship but K2SO, you know?
Obviously.
Right. And then...
and watching your back.
Wait, Charlie, have you seen Rebels?
No, we are my podcast is just about to start watching it with me for our Wednesday episodes while we wait for Kenobi.
It's a good time to do that.
Yeah, Kyle suggested it, and I was like, you know what? I've not seen it. I don't know very much about it, but give it a go.
I won't bring up what I was going to say then, because
neither
one of you have seen Rebels, so...
Spoilers.
Yeah. But both, Lito, Charlie, you both should watch it. It's good stuff.
I've watched some. Yeah.
Is it going to hurt my feelings the way Clone Wars hurt my feelings? Because I don't think I can emotionally go through that again.
My daughter says the same stuff, by the way. She doesn't like certain episodes of the Clone Wars because same reason. Yep.
Yeah, there's some moments. I'll say that.
Why?
I don't know.
Why? Because it's Star Wars.
I mean,
it makes you laugh. It makes you cry. You know, it makes you question power. It makes you, you know, believe in teamwork, and you know, it runs the gambit of emotions.
And then it rips your heart out and shoots it with a blaster.
And then laughs at you while you cry.
Right.
It feeds you.
Laughs and laughs and laughs at our pain.
It tears. Yeah. It destroys your planets.
All right.
That doesn't build your planets, though. I've never seen a planet being built in Star Wars.
Like building a planet?
Yeah. Have you seen like construction of something going on? It's always just been destruction.
Destruction sells, man.
Well, I mean, I you know, I've been in the construction. I was in the construction industry, and it's like, you know, like where's the shipbuilding planets, and where's the, you know, where did they build? They talk about production, but you never see it, you know. And then like, who built the fleet for the Final Order? Like these are good government jobs, you know. You know, like who they did the workers get prevailing wage? I mean, what's going on?
Lito wishes to unionize the Empire. God, could you imagine a union going up to Darth Vader and being like, "We want better pay, please"?
Yeah, how about that? Let's talk about that for a second. They're like, "I need more men," and it's like, "You just have to double your efforts." And they're like, "Okay, we'll double our efforts." Well, like hey, that's the guy. That's a laborer, right? And he's working. He's away from his family. And he's got to be on the Death Star, you know. He's working. Are they giving him housing and you know, a fair day's wage for a fair day's work? And then is he getting per diem, whatnot? You know, like these are the questions that need to be asked. Like, where is the stormtrooper's shop steward to talk? You know, to negotiate these terms. Who
washes the stormtrooper armor? Who washes the undergarments?
There we go.
I don't want that job. It's probably a droid.
Where's the canteen? Where's the food?
Right.
The bathrooms?
For real.
Come on, Death Star plans, please. Give me the answers.
But yeah, no. I mean, what do they do on their downtime? Right? We know the clones have a little bar on Coruscant that they go to, right? So there you go. Like, what do the stormtroopers do? Yeah, 79s.
They gotta have a bar there.
Right? Yeah, probably.
Like a spa, maybe
a spa.
A movie theater on the Death Star. Where they can watch Spaceballs.
Spaceballs the movie. Anyway.
But only when Darth Vader's off the Death Star, because he severely disapproves of Spaceballs being shown while he's around.
He immediately force chokes someone when he sees
it. Yes. Breaks that, walks past the theatre room and the projector just shatters. That's
All right. Is it her time for our questions for her there, John?
Sure. All right. Like I said, some of these might have been asked while I was hot water tanking it. I guess I already know the answer to this one, but why not? On a scale of 1 to 10, where's your Star Wars fandom?
5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking to a super Star Wars fan here.
Right. I mean, Absolutely. you do a Star Wars podcast, so it kind of puts you up there. It's a pretty easy one. All right. If you could take one thing from Skywalker Ranch, what would it be?
If I could take one thing, one of George's plaid shirts.
Oh.
Straight up.
Wow. Stealing from
Seeing
the
a
wardrobe.
lot of George's wardrobe showing up on social media lately. It's pretty amazing. Like people talking about his outfit and stuff.
It's very much the kind of like Steve Jobs, I'm going to wear a black turtleneck every day so I don't have to make choices. For George, it's plaid shirts. Wow. There's like a couple of specific ones from various behind the scenes shots because I've been collecting a lot of behind the scenes photography for our social media because the fans seem to love like all of the weird rare shots that you might not have seen. That man has a wardrobe of plaid shirts bigger than anyone in the history of ever.
He's got a style. He's got to stick to it.
Exactly. That's what I would take from Skywalker Ranch. George, please don't have like a restraining order put out on me.
Put a lockdown on my shirts.
It's not weird.
I want stormtroopers on my shirts all day. Nobody's getting by. I love it. That's such a bizarre, like, out there answer. It's perfect. All right.
Okay.
If you were in a bad mood and Yoda showed up to tell you do or do not, there is no try, how would you respond to that? And I mean, I'm talking like you're in kind of like a raging bad mood and he says that to you.
I do not play football and I do not have a very strong kick, but I would do my absolute best to punch that little frog as far into the distance as physically possible. I don't need some weird little green frog telling me that do or do not, there is no try. All right. If you caught me on a bad day and in a bad mood, I feel terrible, but that's probably what my response would be.
You would punt Yoda across the Dagobah swamp.
I would.
Oh, wow.
And you would hear him do that scream like he does when he's fighting Dooku.
Yes. That haunts me.
I can actually picture him being punted. Is that bad?
I know. I've never thought about that, but now I could totally
very
see it.
satisfying. He's an excellent size, like about kind of just a bit bigger than American football, so you could get a real sort of like kick going.
That's so cool.
Especially if you put a bit of the force into it as well, so you've got some real kind of height and distance. Height and distance is what I'm going for, as far away from me as possible.
I know you're not a drawer, Charlie, but I don't know. I could see that. I could see that kind of being like maybe your first sculpture.
This piece, it's really interesting. What is it? It's me kicking Yoda. Why?
He's getting snotty with me when I was upset.
I'm sorry, I don't think these are the answers you were expecting.
No, I love it though. All right. If you could go out to dinner with anyone from Star Wars, meaning character, actor, somebody that works behind the scenes, alive or dead, who would it be?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Awesome.
Oh, the character Obi-Wan or Alec Guinness or Ewan McGregor?
Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
Not fussed whether it's Phantom Menace Ewan McGregor, because damn, that rat tail. Ooh. Or like kind of flowy, floppy hair, really ginger, like Attack of the Clones Obi-Wan. Either absolutely fine by me. Would also accept Cardboard Beard Clone Wars Obi-Wan as well for
Cardboard
shits and
beard. Very
giggles.
good. Very good.
I love it.
Obi-Wan.
Now, would you have dinner at Dex's Diner with Obi-Wan?
Yeah, I think that'd be sweet. I think Dex would have like a whole like special menu. Like he'd make the stuff that he only makes for the special people. It'd be great. Be a
The
whole
VIPs. Oh, very
yeah, the
cool.
VIPs.
I love it.
Other than Legolas in the Lord of the Rings films, young Obi-Wan was probably like one of my first sort of big TV movie crushes as like a kid and a teenager. That really sort of
great.
soppy infatuation that you have where, but yeah.
Cloners. Yes.
Cloners.
Dex is featured on our show all the time.
We love
I love
Dex.
Dex.
Yeah.
All right. This is probably pretty easy. Not really. What is your favorite quote or line from all of Star Wars?
Ooh.
I can't even answer this one.
You guys are going to have to talk amongst yourselves for a second because I'm going to have to scroll through my Instagram captions.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's where I
Well,
put all of my best quotes.
Lito, what's yours?
my can I answer the what I would take from the Skywalker Ranch, if
No.
you don't mind?
Oh,
Oh, I can't?
that question's not for you.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got?
You rebel scum.
You rebel scum.
I was thinking I would drive off that sweet yellow hot rod that has
Oh.
THX 1138 as the license plate. I would take that and be like, all right, see you later, dude. You know, thanks for the car. Yeah, that's the first thing I'd like to grab. You know, if he let me take it. You know, obviously I wouldn't want to steal it because I don't want to go down. I don't want to go to jail or anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is if you can, not, if
Yeah,
you can steal.
Oh, well, like
can
when
just
George has like the estate sale when he.
No,
Gotcha.
just if you could just be like, hey, I want to take this, you take it.
Okay,
That's
cool.
all. It's not. There's no backstory to it.
Gotcha.
I didn't get deep with it.
And then now the quote, right?
Are you ready, Charlie? Do you have
I
yours?
am.
Charlie's
I
ready.
am.
Okay, good. Okay.
I'm going to have to put it in because it makes me laugh every time. Dewana Wanga.
I love it.
Closely followed by the classic and iconic confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. That one always
Okay.
just absolutely gets me. And then if we're talking book quotes, because I've taken quite a lot from the novelizations of where is it? That was it. That was her life, Rey reflected, a succession of anxious moments interrupted only by the novelty of occasional panic.
Mm.
And I think that sums up my life quite well. Anxious moments and occasional panic.
Interesting.
I particularly like confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. So I love the idea of destiny and higher purpose. And whilst I'm not particularly religious per se, I like if I could say my religion was Jedi, then I probably would.
Very good. There's people that identify as Jedi as
There
their
are.
religion. Yeah.
There are.
So it's not outside the realm of possibilities. And you know what's weird? Like, think about, like, let's fast forward our civilization a couple of 100 years, and you never know. You never know. You know,
It might make a comeback. It might solve all world, might settle world peace, and that'll be that. We'll just
Absolutely.
be Jedi.
exactly. Look what's happening here. You know, England or UK and United States, we're common ground. You know,
Star Wars.
yeah.
Right?
So,
I'm sorry, these are not quick fire questions. I apologize.
No, they're all good.
Laugh it up, fuzzball. By the way, is my favorite
Oh
quote.
yes.
Laugh it up,
Yes.
fuzzball. The answer is laugh it up, fuzzball.
Ray ripping the wires out and going, I bypassed the compressor.
Oh my goodness, that's so good.
Oh, you sounded just like her too.
I know. She was like doing the acting too. The acting was in the eyes.
Right.
Watched the films too many times.
It's kind of good because this is probably something maybe you guys talked about this next one, but I don't know. I'm gonna assume it's something you talked about. Is Rey your favorite Star Wars character?
We did talk about this.
Yeah.
Nice.
I said to Lito that I never particularly identified with Rey, with Padme or Leia. I was never that strong, brave, telling everyone else what to do kind of princess, kind of go get it sort of girl. I was never the quiet sort of put together regal sort of patience that Padme has. I was the awkward, unsure, anxious kid who didn't know who they were, where they were going, where they'd come from, what they were supposed to be, drowning in expectation from the people around them. And Rey was that for me. Rey was that point of connection where I went, now I found my character, now I found my person, and I love her, and I will defend her being a Skywalker till I'm blue in the face. Or shout down anybody who wants to disagree with me.
I'm not disagreeing, but like, what do you think about when she gets called? What is it? Something Sue? I don't. Something
Mary
like
Sue.
Mary Sue.
She gets called a Mary Sue. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She like knows how to do the Force, all the Force powers without training.
Did people forget that Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star first time round, age 17, never having flown an X-Wing in space before, never having left Tatooine? Do people forget that Luke also portrays, so does Anakin, this concept of uniquely gifted, incredibly powerful, knows nothing about that, and just happens to be good? It's not. It's literally the Force. I stand by the point, I don't mean this offensively to either of you in the slightest, I stand by the point that the majority of male Star Wars fans could not handle seeing a female lead and seeing a powerful, proficient, intelligent, beautiful female lead as well. Like it became this whole issue that wasn't just about whether she's a Skywalker or whether she's a proper Jedi or not.
I'm telling you right now, this conversation we're having is totally helping me see Rey in a whole different way, because there's hardly any, females to get their perspective on it,
No. Yeah, she deserves as much credit and as much appreciation and respect as Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker did. And Daisy Ridley was bullied off social media. She hasn't been on social media for a good couple of years now because she was harassed so aggressively by the fan base for being a Mary Sue, being a rubbish character, a pathetic excuse. You're not a Skywalker. You'll never be a Skywalker. Leave it alone.
That's so pisses me off that like Star Wars fans do that kind of stuff. Going back to like the prequels with Jake Lloyd and Ahmed Best.
And Ahmed Best like tried to end his own life. Like it's ridiculous. The actress who plays Rose Marie Tran, Kelly Marie, yeah, she got bullied off of social media. John Boyega left for the same reasons.
It's ridiculous. Like that kind of stuff makes me like second guess my Star Wars fandom sometimes because I hate being associated with people like that. I just want to rewind really quick and say that you relating to Rey like that is freaking beautiful.
Oh my gosh,
and
thank you.
Like Lito said, that's making me see that character. I don't hate Rey at all. I think I'll just be short. The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker, I thought that her character was like similar in those two movies. She felt to me very different in The Last Jedi, but in those two films, I thought she was adorable, and I loved like so many scenes with her in those two films. But see, hearing what you were just saying about her is things that I think I need to hear more, because they're not my favorite movies. I don't hate them, but I want to know what, like, I want to see these movies through like your eyes, maybe, maybe that would help.
I said this to Lito. I was surprise taken to the midnight showing of Force Awakens, and I'm not going to cry. I sat in that theater, and within the first like 3 seconds of the opening credits starting and the theme starting, I broke down. I cried. I was so overwhelmed, and I said this to Lito, it was like everybody in that cinema, we all held hands and we all went home for the first time in years. We all took that step back into that world together, and it didn't matter whether you liked Rey or Finn or Poe. It was JJ worked so hard to make it new and fresh, but so familiar and so comforting. It was like being given a hug, like a hug from somebody that you haven't seen in a long time. And Rey was that connection point for me, that moment of she is both the strength of Leia and the patience and the gentleness of Padme all into one. And she's anxious and she's unsure and she makes mistakes and she's clumsy and she goes through so much and she experiences so much, and there's the weight of the whole world on her shoulders. And if you follow the dyad theory, it postulates that the Force is like a battery. The more Force users there are, the more empty that battery is, and the less Force there is for people to be able to use. At this point in Rey's story, especially in The Rise of Skywalker, she is one of the only Force users and only light side Force users as well. So she has got all of that battery that's been sat filled for years untouched. Of course she's more powerful than she could ever comprehend. I am all of the Jedi. Rey is elite, unstoppable, undefeatable, completely the antithesis of everything Star Wars. It was just it. Oh God, I love them so much. Yes, there were issues with The Last Jedi. Yes, I think Rian Johnson did his absolute best to make it as difficult and unnecessary as possible. His sense of humor is very weird.
Mm-hmm.
It makes Rey and Kylo's relationship, if that's what you want to call it, by the end of Rise of Skywalker, really jarring, because there's none of that really in The Last Jedi. Both Daisy Ridley and Kylo Ren, Adam Driver, wanted to improvise a kiss in the lift. Literally just have this moment of just...
Yeah.
And Ryan was like, nah, won't work. Don't like it, won't fit. And then it means that when they kiss at the end of the film, I laughed a little bit, I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't like it. I wasn't foreseeing it. I didn't. Why did they? Why did you have a little smooch? Why? Don't get it. But other than that, Rey specifically, her character and her character development, yes, potentially hindered by parts of The Last Jedi. But The Last Jedi delves so deeply into this idea that she is no one, she is nothing. And even though she is someone and she is from somewhere, she doesn't know that, she doesn't understand that, and she still achieves greatness and she still defeats Snoke. She still becomes what she was meant to be throughout all of that. And it's growth, isn't it? It's growth and development. I could go on for hours. I'm going to stop myself.
I think that the last two questions that I was going to throw out there just wouldn't top what you were just saying. So I'm just going to...
Okay.
For real. No, because everything
fair.
you just said was just awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. I loved it.
That was amazing stuff. And yeah, I mean, sorry to open up that can.
No.
But like I said, it's to talk to Star Wars with like a true Star Wars fan. I have to take it, these are my burning questions, that you're totally getting answers to. And that's awesome. You're not shying away. You're going, no, I'm going to answer these tough ones. So I got one more tough one now. Maybe it's not so tough. Jyn Erso. What are your thoughts on her?
Jyn
Erso.
Okay.
Oh my God. This is my only, what I would argue is my only potentially quite controversial Star Wars opinion, and is the one thing that's had me like crucified in the past by people.
Uh-oh.
I don't like Jyn. I liked Rogue One. It was a good film, really good film. Really didn't. If any character can be awarded the title of Mary Sue, then it belongs to Jyn, not Rey.
Oh, okay.
I don't particularly like the actress either. I don't think that helps. I don't like her style of acting and the way she portrays herself on camera. I find it somewhat disingenuous and somewhat flat.
Interesting.
I would rather have the clunkiness and the weirdness of Anakin and Padme's relationship when they're trying to work out how to flirt with each other on the balcony than Jyn delivering lines exactly the same every time. I also still can't quite wrap my head around why they all had to die at the end, but I also understand like rebellion and hope and moving forward.
Right. Yeah.
Not a big fan of Jyn. Love all women in Star Wars. Love all women in Star Wars ever, forever, always. But I'm personally not a terribly big fan of Jyn as a character. Is that against how do you guys feel about Jyn? Because I know it's quite a divisive topic.
I love Jyn.
Yeah. I thought
I
she
root
was
for her.
Cool.
Yeah, she's BA, like she's
no K2SO, but she's all right.
No, I'm totally down with her and her storyline and her arc, and the father stuff. Losing her kind of thinking she lost her father, but then not, and then almost seeing him, having a couple seconds. I mean, I'm a stickler for the father stuff. So I don't know what that says. You know, I cried when Kylo and Han had that moment, you know, on Endor or whatnot. So
the Hey Kid moment.
Yeah.
So that got me a bit the first time.
So I guess that helps me.
Don't make me play it in my head, because now I am going to cry.
So that kind of helps Mike, you know, and that she was kind of like, you know, reluctant to join, but she's totally like a super soldier too, you know. I don't know if she's force sensitive or not, but I think, you know, she's awesome. But that's cool. You know, you have differences of opinion, but you know, it doesn't matter. It's all Star Wars at the end of the day. You know,
very true.
It wouldn't be Star Wars if we didn't disagree on some things, or our opinions differed from one another. The discourse is part of Star Wars, I think, and whether you indulge in that positively or negatively is up to you. But it's there, and we can't really ignore it.
Right.
But in my head, really, honestly, all Star Wars is good Star Wars. I'm never going to sit here and deliberately tear something to pieces or make other people not feel great about liking something. I don't particularly enjoy Jen as a character, but I'm not going to turn around and be like, well, you guys suck. What are you on about? It's stupid. Why would you? No.
Right. There are a lot of people that do that out there, though.
Not when that's how my favorite character's been treated for years. So
do you think that over time people that refer to Rey as a Mary Sue, and people that, you know, males that don't like the female lead and all that, do you think there's a chance that they'll come around over time?
Yeah. I think, like the prequels had, the sequels will have their renaissance. They will have their moment in the sun again, where we all turn around and go, actually, I loved this. I loved every second of it, because it was fashionable to hate the prequels. It was fashionable. It was popular to turn to the one person at the party who went, I actually quite like the Phantom Menace, and go, you suck.
Right.
I was there. I was one of those people being ostracized for enjoying them. And then it settled, and then people started loving them again, and that was everything to me. And I really do think Star Wars is quite cyclical. It will come back around again. It always does. And by time people come back to loving the sequels, we'll have so much else to sink our teeth into, and so many other things to dive into, that it's a balance in the Force.
There you go. I also think that everything that they're building now before the sequels happen, The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba and all these other series that are coming out, I think it's going to play a role like the Clone Wars did with the prequels. It's going to connect a lot of things. At least that's what I'm seeing or hoping for, is to connect 100%. A lot of things. And I think that, and I'm guilty of it sometimes, that I'll like start, you know, throwing tomatoes at stuff. I almost swore, you know, like even a couple of the Book of Boba Fett episodes where I'm like, oh, this is crap or whatever. And then I go back and rewatch it. And I'm like, after seeing the whole series, and I go back and watch, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense or whatever. So I'm also guilty of sometimes being explosive and then I go back and rethink things. But for me, the sequel trilogy, I loved The Force Awakens. My fiance and I saw it. It was her first Star Wars film in a theater, and we both loved it. I loved the movie until The Last Jedi came out, and then I was like, oh. I was like, yeah, it kind of disconnected things for me. But I'll revisit them again at some point, and hopefully over time I'll learn to love them like I love all the others.
Right now they're super disconnected from everything else. That you know, just this little scene where we get to see, you know, the Jedi kind of temple area being built kind of helped me appreciate the sequel trilogy more. So now as we you know, start closing in the story and telling a little bit more of the backstory of the sequel trilogy, I think it's totally going to help me just love the films more. So just like anything, you know, like you fill in some gaps, and I'm a happy camper.
Oh, there's one last question on the list. You gonna come back anytime and chat with us?
Oh my god, 100%. I'll come back tomorrow. Like, I'll do this again tomorrow night. I really expected this to be like sort of 40 minutes high and by, and here we are at nearly 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that you've taken the time to listen and make me feel like what I have to say is worth saying. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
It's hard sometimes to exist in a space like Star Wars as a woman, as a female presenting person. It's tough, and I especially with my Rey cosplay, I have thankfully never too aggressively, and I've never been like a part of like the center of like a hate campaign or anything, but I've had a lot of people try and tell me that my opinions don't mean anything, that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Ouch.
And it's tough. It's tough to sort of want to keep going, but it's guys like you and guys like my lot at Lightsaber Radio that give me the faith back in the fandom that I lost for a while. Because there are more good people like you, I know that now, than there are horrible people who say nasty things.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
The horrible ones just seem to be very loud all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't mean that there's a lot of them. They're just very loud.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the more time I spend connecting with genuine good Star Wars fans like you guys, I've had such a fun evening. I really have. Thank you. Like, honestly, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, and I'm sorry about having to cancel on you the other week. And then
not at all. To be honest, if it had been last week, I'd have been so tired. I don't think you'd have got that much out of me. It's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. I should probably go to bed soon.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I had an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I can't wait to tell everybody about this tomorrow on Saturday's show.
Oh, that's so cool.
Well, we're here. Please, come back again soon. And
with any time you want me back, please just drop me a message.
Awesome.
I'll make sure to check Twitter a bit more regularly. Don't know what all that was about.
If anybody wants to contact you from our fan base or whatnot, is there a Twitter that they could, or an email or whatever you want to kind of?
You can. For the best way to get hold of me is my Instagram, running back to Jakku. If you drop me a DM, I will do my best to respond promptly. You can also find my podcast on Instagram and Twitter at Lightsaber Radio. YouTube Lightsaber Radio, and I'm just on Instagram at the moment for my cosplay. That's the best place to reach me usually.
Oh yeah, thanks for doing the quiz.
No, honestly,
it was so much fun.
I love, to be honest, when it comes to writing quiz questions, if there's a theme, it makes my job so much easier. So It was a hell of a lot of fun, and I'm totally going to recycle these questions and post them to my lot tomorrow. Be like, can you do better than Clone Army Radio? I bet you can't.
I didn't think we did good.
You, honestly,
like
I think you got about 6 or 7 right, actually, out of about 12.
Okay.
Which, yeah, my show averages about sort of 3 questions right per episode spread across the 3 of them. It's been nearly about 45 quiz episodes, it's 38 quiz episodes now, and Garrison has 62 points. Kyle's on 46 and CJ's on CJ's on 46 and Kyle's on 45. So it's very close.
That's smart to keep stats. We didn't even thought about that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard work. I keep stats. I have a record of all of the quiz questions that have ever been asked on the show, and it's about 12 pages long of a document.
Oh, that's great.
But Star Wars is kind of infinite, and the more I feel like I run out, the more new stuff is put in. So I don't think I'm ever going to run out, hopefully, touch wood.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I
am going to have to say goodbye.
Yeah,
thank you so much, everybody. It's been wonderful. Oh my goodness.
You have a good night.
I will do. You guys too.
Get some sleep, and we'll definitely be contacting you again.
Yes.
For the hour or so I was here with it, this was great. It was so much fun.
Thank you.
It made my day better.
So much. Oh, bless you. Thank you. You've made my day as well. I've had so much fun.
Alrighty.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Take care. You too.
Bye.
Bye. All right. We will see you all next week. May the Schwartz be with you.
May the Schwartz be witches.
Do it, Admiral Jet.